Ladies and gentlemen, well, I gotta tell you, it took all of 10 minutes to get my live stream to turn on. It's almost as if the universe didn't want the live stream to go on until the designated 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's how things work sometimes. Just like the great Barry Jordan has captivated the minds of men and women throughout this flat earth to make us wonder in disbelief and in belief and our hopes and dreams whether or not Barry Jordan is a free man. And of course, we know that's not true. So everybody is going to be disappointed. Is going to be, because I thought about this. I thought about it the hard way, the easy way, the soft way. First of all, Barry Jordan. He's a prankster. He's the ultimate prankster. He tells you he's going to use $1,000, 50,000 pesos for a lawyer, and he goes and buys cigarettes and alcohol. And then he tells you he needs 100,000 pesos for a lawyer, and then he gives the lawyer 36,000 after. He's a prankster. He's a prankster. He's like Lodi, the Greek. He's like a court gesture. So, thinking back of all the things he's scammed and usurped your hard-earned monies for, think about this. Let me see, who's here? What do we have? We have a boxing kangaroo. Good day, mate, from Australia. Thank you for stopping by. Cinderella, as long as he runs free in Cinderella's head. Oh, that, I am absolutely certain that Cinderella's lawyer is on this right now. Even if there's a fee, a gesture fee, a good faith gesture to get that lawyer. I don't understand why someone just can't call up the detention center. But me personally, I look at it from a rational point of view. Number one, in order for Barry to leave the Philippines, first of all, he'd have to get Popeye 1's permission. Because Popeye 1 has a big Christmas show planned. And you don't think that Popeye 1 is going to allow Barry to leave. Which he has no jurisdiction, of course, except in our minds, the great Popeye 1. He has a Christmas show coming up, and even Barry wouldn't want to harm his views. So, think about this. I did see the picture of the great Barry Jordan at an airport, but that can't be real. Because if Barry was gonna make a video, he has a phone. Every airport has Wi-Fi. He would have made a video grabbing the package and saying hasta la vista to the Philippines, baby. That's number one. He didn't do that. Number two, he would have made a video. Number two. Number three, he needs an NBI clearance. Unless there was a physical emergency. And if there was a physical emergency, what would that be? That they couldn't take him to a hospital in Cebu. If it's that much of an emergency, I would think they would take him to a hospital in Cebu. Now, he could be pranking everybody because the great Barry Jordan, he's a prankster. There's no doubt about it. And he's captivated the minds and hearts of thousands and thousands and thousands of comments will be displayed and dispersed throughout the internet over the next 48 hours. Mike Dowdy, I've been talking this Christmas special up since Popeye announced it in June. Barry can't leave. I agree. Barry, wherefore art thou? I agree, Michael. Thanks for stopping by. And Gabrielle Lockson says the photo with Barry is edited. Other photos were taken off the internet. This takes only seconds to verify. I agree, Gabrielle. I agree. And I will tell you why I agree. Because I don't know anything about Photoshop, but Barry would have made a video. Now, he would have made a video. He would have been talking about, I'm a free man. So Barry is in the Philippines. And where he is when he made a statement through Shah's channel, the great Barry Jordan, he said he's not going to be on for 30 days. So my opinion, this is just my opinion. My opinion is that he's building it up. He's building it up for Popeye's Christmas special. He's building up the angst and the anxiety. He's building it up to make a Christmas extravaganza, and then he's going to get a pot, and he's going to bang a pot and a bell like Santa Claus. I picture Barry coming back with a Santa Claus hat and a bell and a pot, telling you, I need some money. I need some Christmas money. That's my opinion. So I'll read the comments. This video was not necessarily just for Barry. I did get my phone fixed yesterday. The phone, here is the phone. Here's the phone. This is the iPhone that had the green screen. And there's my Samsung phone above that. So I've had a lot of problems. The iPhone I got fixed, but the green screen cost 3,500 pesos to get fixed yesterday. And it took me 20 minutes to get it to go live stream. I don't know why. I had to push every button on the phone. So it's still not working, and I can't see my mail from the day the phone broke till today. I sent myself mail. So if you have an iPhone 13 Pro and your phone goes green screen because of the update, which it does 5% of the time, and you do get it fixed, I don't know that I'll ever be able to see my mail again. The man said that some functions may not work. Moving back to the great Barry Jordan. I think Barry's going to be... I personally think he got his phone taken away from him because... That's what I think. I mean, because he was... I think he's being punished. But I think he'll be back for Popeye's Christmas special in time to bang a pot with a bell. That's what I think. And I've had like maybe 4 comments telling me I should do a Barry Jordan, great Barry Jordan Christmas special, and that I should say that it's good that Barry is free and it's good that Barry's going back to America. But I don't think that that's the case. I don't think Barry's free, and I don't think I think he's just being moved from one place to another if they can't find him on the Bureau of Immigration's books in Cebu. I think he's being moved to another location. I think they took his phone away. I think a lot of things. I think the earth is flat. In fact, I'm pretty sure. I'm more sure that the earth is flat than I am of where Barry Jordan is. Anybody, moving on. Well, let's not talk about the flat earth. You guys can't. Yay, Flying Circus, says Steve. Hey, Steve is in the house. Steve, you are everywhere, my friend. You are everywhere. You are everywhere. You're the foghorn. So the photo is photoshopped, I agree. It's also possible someone at the detention center told him to stop doing live streams. Right. Live streams, and maybe they took his phone away. Okay, that makes sense, that maybe they took his phone away. But there is a fella that says he has access to the Bureau of Immigration dating detention center inventory of inmate list, and he said Barry was signed out yesterday morning. So that's it. I don't think it's Barry. I only think, these are my thoughts, I only think that Barry is being moved to another place. That's my best guess. But and being that if somebody can somehow get who's currently enrolled at the detention center, then you could do that. Why doesn't somebody send a lawyer over to the detention center? Give the lawyer a phone call and say, hey, can you do me a favor? And any lawyer should be able to call up. This is the great Barry Jordan. He has us underneath his control. He's the jester. He's the court jester. Allo's off on vacation in Swiss cheese land, and Barry has taken up the slack as the court jester. So the bottom line is, there's no way you're going to make me believe that Barry had a medical emergency. No way. Because any medical emergency that was a real emergency is not going to involve 36 to 40 hours of travel to America on a plane where they have a medical emergency and have to turn the plane around. That's not going to happen. So that's out of the question, a medical emergency. Not having the phone for a month, that tells me that his phone privileges was taken away, like that fella in the chat just said. Gabrielle Loxon says that the detention center took his phone. And then Mike Dowdy says that's not even in the international travel part of the airport. Where is Christmas decorations photo at? Photo is a fake. Yeah, well, I wouldn't know about the airport itself. And you're right about the Christmas decorations. They are up pretty much everywhere. If they took his phone, says Flying Circleness Circus, he should get someone to make some videos for him to mess with Stank, says the Flying Circus. Gabrielle Oxen says that's correct. The earth is flat. You know, being that you agree, there is no intelligent person educated with a higher education, college, and or somebody that really paid attention in high school, maybe a college regent's diploma, or someone that is intelligent, like a high IQ. You don't have to have a college education. They can read the reasons why the earth is flat and then come to their own conclusion, and everybody comes to the same conclusion: the earth is flat. Only person I know that just refuses to believe, to watch, to read, to do the mental calculations. The only person I've ever talked to is John Blaze, because he has the education of a Chinook helicopter pilot, and he is, in real life, a Chinook helicopter pilot, and he refuses to watch the video and read the information that the earth is flat. And I don't know why. It's a mental thing. It's just a mental thing. I wouldn't watch it either. It took me like 5 years of people telling me the earth was flat. Maybe longer than that. And I said, what is wrong with these? And I never would watch a single video. And then in one day, I watched most of the flat earth videos for the reasoning behind the Earth being flat, and they're all calculations based on real science, based on geological surveying for railroads and or the trenching of different canals, the Suez Canal and the Panama Canal, and the railroads that run through Europe, 300 miles of railroads. And there's not much more than an inch plus or minus off level. They go through mountains. They go over bridges. They go around mountains. But the track itself, from the beginning of the track for 300 miles, doesn't vary in height plus or minus 1 inch. Because this is just one example. If the Earth was round, in that 300 miles, what is called the engine would have to travel up several hundred feet, pulling a train. And that there is no motor, engine, steam, gas, or diesel that has the power to pull the train up. Because, okay, it's not a straight incline, but if most of you people have never traveled across the United States. But I will tell you that when I traveled on US 1 up towards San Francisco, there's a road. And the incline is not that much of an incline. But by the time my old van started, I was going 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. By the time I got almost there, I was down in first gear, and a straight 6-300 was chugging along under heavy strain, because it was a slight incline, but it's still an incline where the motor has to work that much harder for the whole incline. That was one place that van went to that year, 1990, 91, the winter of 90, the spring of 91. And the second place was coming up to the Rio Grande in Arizona. You come up that mountain to the top of the Rio Grande, and it's like 8 miles of incline or 4 miles of incline. And the incline is not that steep. But by the time I got up to the top of the Rio Grande, it was in first gear and the engine was struggling and the motor gets hot. So a caboose engine can't go up and down inclines like that. It would have to go up somewhere to get from one part of Europe to the other, and then it would go down. It's not possible. There's thousands of examples of why the Earth being curved is not possible. But getting back to the great Barry Jordan, he can't do that to Popeye. He can't do it to Popeye. He's got to be here for the Christmas special. Let's hope that Popeye can get him on the live stream for the Christmas special. Now, Scott Del Fuego is in the house. Thank you for stopping by. I think he joined the CPDRC Dancing Inmates Group and is incommunicado while he learns the performance routines. Barry is actually a good dancer. He does two things. Well, he does three things really well. One is that boy can talk you out of your last $3. I don't know how he does it. Number one. And number two, what he does, he can sing the words to the songs that he knows the words to, which makes sense. Barry can sing a song from the beginning of the song with the same luster as the songwriter. In other words, if the songwriter is pronouncing something in a deep voice and quick, Barry knows every innuendo of the songs that he remembers, and he can do it without listening to the song. In other words, he can remember an entire song, how to and where to highlight different parts of the song. Every word, every verse, every insignificant detail that you would think happened in the song, he can repeat that without the song being played. Now, I don't know anybody else that can do that. Of course, most singers can do that, but they're professional singers. And Barry is not a professional singer, but he can do so with the same enthusiasm. So he can sing, he can scam. Those two things both start with an S, like super scammer singer. And he can dance. I've watched him dance. He has rhythm. So he can sing, he can dance, and he can scam like nobody's business. Like nobody's business. So he's got talent. Had he used his scandalous ways for the good of his beneficial time in the Philippines, he would have a motorcycle. He would have a nice apartment. If he would have quit smoking when him and I talked about it 3 years ago, he would have money for an apartment. He was spending more money for cigarettes than his rent for his apartment cost. He was spending more money on cigarettes and alcohol than his rent for his apartment, his electric, and his visa fees would have cost. Just cigarettes and alcohol. And then he was getting that additional income from you in Super Chats. So had he worked his money wisely, Barry Jordan would be the man. He would be not only looked up to, but he would be idolized as the great Barry Jordan. Now, I don't wish Barry any harm or any bad karma, because Barry, he has enough of that without anybody wishing it on him. I've tried to help Barry in so many ways, and if he can ask some of his personal friends, they'll agree to that. So I have no ill will towards Barry. He makes for good topic matter, as you can see on that fake Frank Battaglia channel. I don't know how many comments are on there. Last night, I think there were 60 comments on that one video that he put up with the picture. It wasn't even about Barry. I'm not sure what it was about, but it was like 60 comments. Barry can generate excitement on YouTube, and well, he should. He gives people something to do. He gives us a reason to live. The great Barry Jordan gives us reason to live. I got comments on my Barry Jordan videos, do a live stream saying, way to go, Barry, you're in America. He's not in America. He might have went to, like I said before, he might have went to a different detention center. Maybe they just took his phone, like that fella said in the comments. Flying Circus says, I volunteer to make the videos for him. Okay. That would be the best, says Steve 25901, who is everywhere on the internet. Bummer, says Mike Dowdy. Bummer is going to testify against himself, so they put him in the witness protection program. I kind of hope he gets out on a mental disability. I mean, if he plays his cards right, and so far he's got a royal straight flush when it comes to being nuts, he might be able to get away with insanity. If anybody could pull off an insanity plea, it would be him. Because some of the stuff that he says is insane. Like when he says, I never said anything bad about anybody. I don't. That's artificial intelligence. So they artificially, He might get away with an insanity plea. I would like to see that happen. Because if Barry, the great Barry Jordan, if he gets away with an insanity plea, someone else is going to go insane about 90 seconds later. So that's true. That part is true. That Barry, maybe if you're listening, I know that eventually this will filter down to him. If you're listening, keep up the good work. I never said anything bad about anybody. It's artificial intelligence. They're setting me up. They're setting me up to take a fall. Barry, just keep it up. That's your best way out. Insanity. The insanity. And being that it's Christmas, you can use the insanity clause. Because anybody that believes in Santa Claus uses the insanity clause. That's funny, Mike. Mike Dowdy. Bummer is going to testify himself. So he testify against himself so he can put himself in the witness protection. That's a good one. Rambutan kills. Fabio, wrench me up. I'm the kangaroo's friend. I'm going to wrench you up. I'm going to wrench you up so that you can do what? What do you want to talk about? I'll allow you to put comments on if you like. Go ahead. Say what you want. I'll read the comment and I'll okay it. If that's what you want to do. I mean, I don't know who you are. How could I wrench somebody that hasn't sent me information as to who they are? I'm not real sure. Hagante, Philippines. Hagante is in the house. I wonder what powers Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad. And are those tracks still underground? That was during when they freed the slaves, I think. I'm not real sure. Correct me on that. It was fried chicken. I'm not sure where we're going with that. The earth is curved, in my honest opinion, but it's a flat, curved disc shape if you're looking from a bird's eye view. Well, considering that NASA has never given us an actual picture of the Earth, we may never know. But by physical attributes and how people made railroads, like for instance, I lived in Key Largo, but Henry Flagler built a railroad from from Miami to Key West. And that railroad doesn't vary up and down 1 inch, and that's 160 miles of flat rails, and most of it, in many parts of it, right through Miami, through Homestead, through Key Largo, through Isla Mirada, through Big Pine Key, through Marathon, and through... It all goes over ocean, which is level, flat level. The ocean is at sea level. So the railroad never varies more than 1 inch track-wise up or down in 160 miles, nor does the water at what is called mean high tide. The tide varies from one place to another because of the tides going in and out, but the mean high average level of the water does not change at all in 160 miles or 10,000 or 1,000 miles. It doesn't change. The earth is flat. I don't want to get involved with that right now, though. Eventually you'll all see that it's been proven that the earth is flat, and you'll have to... Flat Earth Fazio will be a very famous man at that time, because I get a lot of people. There's a guy that made a channel name, Flat Earth Fazio Circus. I like that. That's cool. That's a good name. And Steve, a triple treat, singing, scamming, and dancing. He's a hoofer at heart. A hoofer, a dancer. That's a word. It's an old word for dancer, I guess. Steve says he's a hoofer. Barry is a barrel of laughs. He really is. when you watch Barry from a point of view of of a trickster, of the court gesture, and the fact that he mesmerizes thousands of comments out of the ether. He's an entertainer in his own right, and more than that, what Barry can do is he induces psycho powers into certain people's minds that are causing certain people to lose consciousness over Barry's mental freedoms, so to speak, because his mental acuity has no boundaries. Barry has thwarted the world when it comes to rational thought. He has thwarted the world. Everybody wants to know where think about who Barry Jordan really is. He's a guy that had a regular job in a regular Waffle House, making pancakes, and now he's famous. He's famous. Barry Jordan has more comments made in relationship to him than even any other blogger on YouTube. Nobody else has more comments directed directly at where he is, what he's doing. Nobody that I think he has. Right now, Barry Jordan is the center of attention. Hey, Barry, how you doing? So I'm glad that you did this because it gives me something to do. Because I wanted to test my phone, and my phone is still not working. But I got my iPhone 13. I have the vertical portrait. I can't get landscape still, even though. Moving on to the rest of the comments. Gigante. It's the first time I have seen Barry telling lies without his mouth moving. He has got the internet and you think about this. Popeye. Think about how Popeye, you know that Popeye is going to put out an extravaganza, Gigante, right? Popeye's been working on this. He's got... Popeye puts out by far the most well cut up clips of the bloggers of anybody. Nobody puts out better clips, better fades in and whatever they call that, and better... Nobody. Popeye's been working on this, especially knowing that this is going to happen 6 months ago. Imagine Popeye, poor Popeye, thinking about Barry being actually in America. What's he going to do with all that work? Then he would have to put it down as fiction. Popeye is non-fiction. Then it would have to be science fiction. Popeye is pulling out his hair right now. He's looking for Barry can't leave. I got this Popeye 1 Christmas special coming up. Barry, I would pay money to keep Barry in the countries to watch Popeye 1 special. That's how much I want to see Barry be highlighted for Christmas. Barry Jordan, you realize that Barry Jordan is going to be the #1 blogger in the Philippines community come Christmas? Who is going to be more famous than Barry? Some people say that Big Kevin is going to be coming back to the Philippines and that he'll make a big splash. Big Kevin, I don't think is ever coming back here, but if you ask Big Kevin if he's coming back, he'll tell you this time next year. And that's what he said in September. But that's also what he said in April. And then last November, he said this time next year, but I need an operation. But the year before that, this time next year, because I have to settle up my visa fees. So then he got his visa fees settled up. Then it was this time next year that he needed the knee operation. Then now it's this time next year in September after the knee operation. And then if you ask him, if somebody asked him a few weeks ago, when are you coming back? And he said, this time next year, I'll be back in the Philippines. So he keeps changing the poll goes. So Big Kevin is never going to get to the Philippines. So he's never going to be the number one highlighted blogger. Other people that have helped Barry out probably will never be the highlight of the Philippines genre again looked up to. Like for instance, Jerry the Fairy. He's helped Barry out a lot, but he's never going to be the highlight of the Philippines. I know I'm never going to be the highlight of the I'm the laughing stock of the Philippines community, according to the Philippines community. So it's not me. It's not Jerry the Fairy. Brevis is moving up. I see he's got commercials on his channel now. He's got paid advertisements moving up right there in the world, but he's never going to be the number one blogger. There can only be one, and that would be the great Barry Jordan, quote unquote. Only Barry, only a middle class, hard-working American that worked his way up from the ranks in IHOP. He started out putting the garbage out at IHOP, and then he moved into cleaning, bussing tables and washing dishes. Eventually, a few years after that, he was mixing pancake batter, and eventually he got to flip the waffle flipper. Barry Jordan has worked his way up through the ranks. Imagine, talking about waffle flipping, imagine starting out putting the garbage out, and just a few short years later, you're flipping waffles, if that was possible. Imagine the credulity, the family get together at Christmas. What's new? Flipping waffles, Uncle Harry. Really? Congratulations, my son. Congratulations. Look, your boy Harriet. Your boy's flipping waffles. He's a waffle flipper. Let's go back to the comments. Hagante. That's true, Hagante. There's no question about his insanity. That's true. He's completely insane. And I won't even say why he's insane, because I pray that it was artificial intelligence. Because if he's insane, it's a guarantee, and gets free, it's guaranteed to drive other people insane. And we, the Philippines community, can watch them all go insane for Christmas when Popeye puts out his Christmas special extravaganza. Let's go back over here. The boxing kangaroo. Rambutan killer is my bambini. Well, that was a mouthful. Thank you for sharing. Scott Del Fuego. I always heard that snitches get tossed in ditches. I've heard that. But Barry is not snitching on Barry. I'm not real sure. Maybe you can clarify that. Mike Dowdy, Popeye is paying Barry to do this as a 25. Popeye's building up the angst to the Christmas special. Popeye is pulling the strings behind the scenes. Good one, Mike Dowdy, good one. Between his bingo and harem, Flying Circuses agreeing. Between the bingo and Popeye's harem, Popeye has a harem now? Flying Circus has an insight into things. John S. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you streaming. Thanks, John S. Thank you. So, Flying Circus, Vietnam. I don't know. Maybe that's a Rambutan killer is my bambini. Maybe that's what that reference is. Mike Dowdy, Flying Circus, Bunbean Veen Street, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know what that means. My stay in Vietnam was 11 days, and I was sick the whole time. So I only went to like 3 or 4 places. So don't remember anything from the vacation itself. I had a fever. I had COVID at the time. So that's all I got. If anybody wants to post some more stuff up, feel free to do so. You can post your thoughts where you think Barry is, but Barry's sitting back. He's sitting pretty. You know he's sitting pretty. Barry is king. King. Think about what I said. He worked his way up from putting out the trash at an IHOP, I think it was. I'm not even sure. I should know. I should have these facts. And worked his way into the kitchen, and eventually he was flipping waffles. That's in the South. That could be considered royalty. Because think about this. I know that at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, when we got out of Les Jardins or Channel 80 or Eliphas or any one of the Scandals or any one of the clubs, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you went to IHOP or you went to a diner, Lindenwood Diner, like that. The Blue Fountain, but you always treated the waiters and the waitresses good because you wanted your pancakes done right. I mean, he was in charge of pancakes and waffles. You don't want crispy waffles or crispy pancakes. Maybe you do. Maybe you want your eggs sloppy. Barry was the man. The machine behind the orders, sitting there with his hat and his pencil in his hat like that. Barry probably put it on his ear, get that oil on there, so that when he touched your order, you got some Barry oil. So Barry oil, that's exciting. Mike Dowdy, Bantayan Brawler. He's a Grode, GROWED, Grode ass man, Grode. But Barry spells it a little differently because the Bantayan Brawler, he has an education. But Barry spells Grode, GROADED, Groded. He's a Groded man. Grode. You could say Groded or Groded. We Groded them good. We Groded up in our family well. So he's a Grode man. That's how he spelt it. If he spelt it, I have to just tell you how they spell in Alabama. They spell it GROAD, Grode or Groded. We Groded an entire family on $82.50 a month. We Groded an entire family. And yeah, that's true. So back to the comments. From Waffle Flipper, says Mike Dowdy, to a Frank Mind Flipper. Oh yeah, I bet Frank is working on this case right now. I bet Frank is looking a little bit like the Pink Panther. Not the Pink Panther. Yeah, with the magnifying glass at that picture. Ooh, like this. Where is it? Ah, yeah. That looks Photoshop. And that guy, the one guy, the picture. Look at how you wanted this. I read a comment yesterday that the picture of Barry in the airport. Now listen to how silly these people are getting. They're really getting silly about this. The picture of Barry, the great Barry Jordan, in the airport. The guy said, if you look at the picture and put a magnifying glass over the the right eye of Barry Jordan, the great Barry Jordan. If you put a magnifying glass over the picture of the great Barry Jordan, over his right eye, in the eye, you can see a reflection of two people standing there. I guess they were supposed to be two police officers. That was all. That was the comment. You can see two other people. Are you people serious to sit there and magnify Barry Jordan's right eye to come to a conclusion that there's two police officers in the reflection of his eye? Do you see the insanity of it all? Barry, if you are driving I-Story something, whatever that guy's name is, or to the point of looking at his eye, the reflection, the glare in his eye, seeing two police officers in the reflection standing there, you people have some more. You have some serious issues. Barry has got you in his spell. He is tripping everybody. Bantayan Brawler says nothing better than awful waffle at that time of the night. Imagine getting your I know how I like my waffles. Waffles, if they're too crispy, I don't like them, and if they're too wet, I don't like them. Bantayan Brawler knows. He knows. He was a discotheque person, perhaps. Weren't we all? Remember going to discotheques? Imagine me in a leisure suit with my DA haircut. I never wore a gold pinky ring, though. I never had a pinky ring. I never had a ring, actually. I had a high school ring, but that's it. I had gold, though. We had gold. There was gold. Let there be gold, but real gold, not the kind of stuff you buy here. Anybody ever check out the prices of gold here in the Philippines? For a little, moving on, a little 6 grams, a little 6-gram necklace, a little 6 grams the necklace weighs. Big enough not to fit around my neck, but to fit around Daisy's neck, which is that big. Just barely fits around Daisy's neck. 6 grams of gold with the charm. It weighed 6 grams. They want $325 for 6 grams of gold. And if you said to them, what would this be worth? As if you wanted to sell it back to a scrap dealer, what was it? $60, I think no, $28. So they're charging you 20 times the price, $28. But they want $325 for it. So moving on. Barry, he's got you in a stranglehold. Moving on. From a waffle flipper to a Frank Mine flipper, says Mike Dowdy. Nothing worse than an awful waffle at that time. Yeah, but I remember trying to get breakfast down before the sun came up. Oh, that was those days. What fun we had. So, Bantayan, nothing. I have, you know what? I have pictures of me in a discotheque with my friend Ernie and his wife Connie, Jimmy, my uncle Tanous, my buddy Steve. Steve married the Princess of Morocco. That night I took those pictures. When I find those pictures, I'll put them up. Steve had at the time, this is discotheque. We'll just talk about discotheques for a minute. So we're in this discotheque it was a club called 231. It was in Garden City. It was the bottom floor of the Garden City Hotel. I think it was 231, the club. So Steve was an ex-military fighter pilot, but he was also the pilot for the King of Morocco. He was the actual King of Morocco's private pilot. And he also had access to the King's Learjet at all times, and he used to do things with the Learjet, move things around. Let's just leave it at that. So Steve eventually married the King of Morocco's daughter. He really married her. He didn't date her. He dated her, but then he married her. I don't remember her name, and I don't even remember the king's name. All I know is that Steve had money up the buku, and he came to the club with us. He had a Porsche Carrara. Ernie had a Corvette, and I had some beat-up old Mercury Torino. And, well, it was a 1977 Mercury Torino with the big engine, but it was a piece of junk compared to those cars. So he goes into the Club 231, and he somehow, somewhere, he went into the city. He stayed next door to where I lived, and in Ernie's apartment. He bought a $12,500 Russian Silver Lynx fur coat. This is true. Okay, so, and when he went to the nightclub with the coat on, he didn't want to leave it in the coat room. And they knew, the people that I went with, they knew the girl in the coat room, and it was okay that he brought the coat. It was not a big deal. It was 1979, 1980, like that. So somebody made fun of his coat, that it was for sissies. Only a sissy would wear a fur coat. I remember that day. That's why, one of the reasons why I remember it. And I'm not going to tell you the rest of the story, but it was a good story. It was a good story. All right, so nothing better. Mighty White hanging from his mouth. Having Barry Jordan with his pen out of his ear, and a mighty white. I said, you know what? In 2 days, it will be 3 years. In 2 days, it will be 3 years since I stopped smoking cigarettes. Never had another cigarette. I smelled one yesterday, though. God, did that smell bad. A guy was smoking. It was raining. And the guy was smoking in the jeepney that I was sitting in, and had the tarpaulin covers closed. I had to go to another jeepney and to wait for my jeepney. I couldn't stand the smell. That 100% humidity cigarette smell. God. And I remember when I would have enjoyed that, but I don't enjoy cigarettes. 3 years since I had a cigarette. I'm very happy about that. And also my diet. I haven't gained any weight at all since I went off the 100% food-free, no food, just water diet. And now I went in 3 weeks, I lost about 1 inch from 45 to 44-inch waist, which is better than gaining weight. Let's go back to the comments. Bantayan Brawler, he's a Grodehouse man. From a waffle flipper to a Frank Mind flipper, says Mike Dowdy. Bantayan Brawler comes back with nothing better than an awful waffle at that time of night, which brought back a lot of memories of discotheque. And Mighty White hanging from his mouth. Bantayan Brawler nails back. And you know that Barry Jordan would have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth while he made your coffee. You know that. Because back then you could do that. I worked in a restaurant. I remember people smoking while they made pizza, and the ashes going into the pizza pie, and no one said a word. And the sweat, my boss would sweat profusely right in the pie when he was flipping it. The sweat would be pouring off his face in the summer. No one cared. You go to jail now for that. Scott, message retracted. I bet he was mighty excited getting promoted from waffles to the egg grill. Imagine your life. You start out putting garbage out and you get promoted, flipping waffles. Eventually you do the eggs. Come on. His family probably had a celebration. They probably, that song, Celebration, they was playing that song. They were, every 6 months he'd go from one one job to another. Imagine the excitement, getting promoted from waffles to the egg grill, says Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmithing man behind the logos. Mike Dowdy. He's called every letter agency in the Philippines. Poor Frank. He's definitely on this like white on rice. He is. He's got to be, man. He's got to be. And be honest with you, I mean, I would be happy to know where Barry is, so I could to pass the news out. But there's no way. I have a list, an email that I made to somebody yesterday, and in the email, I'll let you read it. I got to go to my sent email. I'll give you the reasons why. I don't know that I could do that. If there was, if Barry had a medical emergency, what was it? What was it? Would they let him travel alone? No, they would not. So that's out of the question. He would still need an NBI clearance unless it was a medical emergency, and then if it was a medical emergency, they wouldn't need an NBI clearance. And they would bring him to a hospital in Cebu. And what medical emergency could it be? Because 3 days ago he was live streaming, he looked fine. As fine as Barry could be looking. And Barry is if you look at Barry's pictures when he was young, he was like everybody else. We were all good looking back then. As they say in the Philippines, very guapo. Barry was very guapo years ago when young man. I saw some pictures of him. Very guapo. It happened so fast. Heart attack, Phil's hospital. The pictures he posted are from the internet, not his face in the photo. Here's the kicker. Here's how you know Barry did not leave the Philippines. He said he's not going to be live streaming for 1 month. That tells me that his phone privileges were taken away. That's what that tells me. He said that on Shah's post. And on Shah's post, if he said, I'm not going to be live streaming, I'll live stream again in 1 month. Well, Barry would have been live streaming at the airport. Barry would have been live streaming by now when he hit the ground, when he hit the tarmac in the United States. Barry's did not leave the country. Did not leave the country. And I guess anything is possible, but I don't believe that Barry is gone. Now, I'm not afraid to share that with anybody because I don't believe it. If I believed he was gone, I would be sitting here congratulating Barry and banging a pot. But you don't see me banging a pot because Barry is not gone. He's somewhere in the Philippines. He's not hiding. I just think they took his phone privileges away. Or, second possibility, and this is just theory, he lost his phone privileges for a certain amount of days, and they transferred him as well. Because that fella, Chubba Wubba, he said that he has some sort of He has the link to the detention center that shows you who's in the detention center. It said Chubba Wubba. And that might be possible. I mean, it could be a public site. So Chubba Wubba said, and if Chubba Wubba says, you know that it must be true. Chubba Wubba says that he sees that Barry was checked out of the detention center in Cebu. So it could be that he had to go to a different detention center. He's not in jail. He's in detention now, yesterday, 2 days ago. But we don't know where he is. So it's all theory, and Barry has got us on the edge of our proverbial chairs. Barry has got us right where he wants us. Right where he wants us. That is photo enhanced like in Blade Runner. That's right. That is Steve, Blade Runner. I love that. That was one great movie. I actually saw that movie not so long after it came out. That was a great movie. Hey, if you guys want to watch a good movie, and this is nowhere near as good as Blade Runner, but this is a good police drama movie, Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves. I'm going to tell you something. You can watch it. I watched it. I think I watched it now 6 times over the last 2 weeks. There are details in the movie that just flash on the screen for 1.5 seconds, and at the end of it, and you're not going to figure out the ending so easy without paying attention to the details that they flash on the screen in the movie. That's what makes a movie great, that you have to think about it. And at the end of the movie, after I watched it 6 times, I think I got most of the details down. But there are details in the movie, all throughout the movie, as to how, who, what, where, and why, what transpires. At the end of the movie, you're going to go, oh, man, that's a good movie. Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves. I gotta get the pot. Bad Italian Brawler. He makes me get the pot. He made me get the pot. He made me do it. He made me do it. Oh my God, that was good. That was good. That was good. The Bad Italian Brawler. He comes up with the idea of the century. You have just made 12 people on Christmas. Bad Italian Brawler. He knows the earth is flat. He also knows, if you want to know what goes on in Barry's mind, you have to play Barry's videos backwards. Barry Jordan's videos backwards. 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 Imagine playing Barry Jordan's videos backwards and hearing, I'm in America, I'm in America, by playing Barry Jordan's videos backwards. You can say what you want, I'm in Alabama now, but you would have never figured it out if you did play my videos backwards. Like where I'm from, Alabama, backwards. I'm from Alabama and we do everything backwards. I'm a backwards type of guy. I lived in the backwoods far, and I was high, I say, on the Alabama moonshine. And none of that made any sense. But if you play Barry Jordan's videos backwards, you will hear I'm in Alabama. I'm a free man. How do you like me now? How do you like me now? I'm in Alabama. I'm a free man. And how do you like me now? But you got to play them backwards. Barry Jordan's videos back. Very good. Bantai and Brawler. I would have never thought about that. That would be something beyond my comprehension. Hagante, what the F? My comments are just not from me. They're not. I enjoy when you come here. I don't know. Nobody has taken your comments off, because if they did, well, first of all, I wouldn't allow it, number one. And number two, I didn't see anybody remove any comments. And I'm looking at the comments on the page as well. So nobody is taking your stuff off. Phil. Now, let's get back over here. Phil. Somebody's talking. Flying Circus. Mike Dowdy. I see them, Hagante. Steve says he sees your comments. Okay, thanks, Steve. Mike Dowdy. The same one looking at reflections in his eye. Aloe's watch. Aloe's watch. The same one looking at reflections in his eye. Watch Aloe's videos to catch a reflection in the glass. Me and Aloe talked about that a while back when he was in Manila getting food. There's a lot of places around there. He goes, he looks through the videos before he posts them. Bantai and Brawl, there might be a secret code in his life. Right, the words. He might say imagine, that's even possible, Bantai and Brawl. Because Barry has the ability to sing every word from every song in key and in the tonation that the song is made in. Barry has that ability. So he might be pumping out a secret code in his Alabama slang. But that Barry, if you're listening, please, I don't care what you do. But when you come back, it was Michael Thomas Fazio that told you first that when you wear your headphones, your sound that comes out of your mouth, your words, are pretty much very clear and able to understand them. Barry, this is serious, okay? And then Flying Circus asked you the same thing last week. And I had told you once before, and you read the comment, you just didn't pronounce the words that I wrote, but when you wear your headphones, even that you talk fast and in a deep accent, your words are understandable. But sometimes, if you don't wear the headphones, most of the people can't. They miss, unless they understand Alabama, whatever that is. I don't know what, the drool. Droll. The drool. You're not quite a jadrol. Well, you might. Yeah, actually you are. You're a jadrol. But moving on. If you wear the headphones, we can understand you better. And understanding you, otherwise everybody's on the edge of their seat going, what did he say? What did he just say? We want to know, Barry. We want to know. We are all rooting for you too, Barry. Let's get a Barry Freedom. Barry, we want to see you go free. Barry, we want to see you under an Alabama tree. Barry, please, whatever you do, don't leave us before Christmas. I mean, Barry, we want to see you go free. Barry, we want to see you under an Alabama tree. Barry, go free. Barry, Alabama tree. Barry, if you did escape justice, if you did escape injustice, congratulations. You have now caused the complete mechanical meltdown of dozens and dozens of people's minds. They won't be able to take the pressure. The pressure will be great. I say the pressure in this one will be great. Barry Jordan, #1, baby. John Wick, wow. John Wick likes the pot. Did anyone catch the Big E acquisitions on Kevin's live stream yesterday? No, I have not watched. I was in the city getting this. I got my. This is my iPhone, and this is my. The top one is my Samsung phone, and the bottom one is my iPhone. I got that fixed yesterday. I was gone from early morning until 5:30 last night, and I missed everything. I came home, put my foods away, and went to bed. So please do. Let's get the skinny. Who accused what of whom, how, when, where, and please repeat it word for word verbatim, and we'll let the comments go through. John Blaze, the Blaze is in the house. Let's get John Blaze's. Where is John Blaze? Let's get John Blaze. Let's get his channel up there. Let's go to John Blaze's channel, and then we'll get his. John Blaze is he. Now this is serious. John, of all the people in my live stream, John Blaze has the highest level of proficiency, job skill-wise, except for one other. But John Blaze portrays his job skills. There are others with job skills to the same level as the John Blaze, but they are done behind names on YouTube, and their proficiencies are not public. But there are other people with lateral levels of education and job skills as John Blaze. But John Blaze is an actual Chinook helicopter pilot, an actual Chinook helicopter pilot that fights forest fires by grabbing water in water buckets from the helicopter off of either cable and with cables, and they get water two ways, either with a water bucket or with a pump, a hydraulic pump that's on the bottom of the water hopper. So let's see, where is and John Blaze and I have met now twice, well, more than twice, but on his two previous vacations to the Philippines. And I'm looking for his video with the water. I'm going to post this with his helicopter. Let's look at videos. Let's see if he has a video of the helicopters. I can't see the shorts. I don't know why. So we'll get this up there for you people to watch. And then I'll be posting this on my... He also owns a farm in Alabama, of all places. He's got a $5,000 wood stove, which is... Oh, what a nice wood stove he's got. $5,000 for a stove. And the rock wall behind the stove was a $5,000 investment. He's also an excellent chef, and we're looking for some videos of him flying the helicopter, the Chinook. I don't know where they are. They should have been here by now. That's a P-51 Mustang. A year ago. Let's see. I don't know where his videos of the helicopter are. Okay? I don't see any... Maybe he took them down. But anyway, he's got content on his page. And we'll try one more time in shorts. If we can see the pictures in the shorts. There it is right here. So here's his helicopter, the instruments of his helicopter, and here is him fighting forest fires. And he's the one guy that won't listen to the flat earth argument, but he's my friend, so that's okay. So this is John Blaze at the controls right here. John Blaze at the controls in his Chinook, in the Chinook that he flies. And let's get his, and this is his Bobcat. He's got a little Bobcat there. And he also has a tractor. And here is inside the aircraft itself. That's not John Blaze, though. That's not John Blaze. That's one of the men that he works with. So John Blaze is a proficiency of man work. John Blaze does man work, has mad skills. John Blaze has man work and mad skills. All right, I posted his link to his page 3 times, and then let's get it over here. Put it in my description box. Now, I have several people that watch my YouTube videos that have jobs on the same level of skill sets as John, but they choose to remain anonymous. Could be Steve25901, for all you know. Thanks for stopping by, John. John is in the Philippines now with his wife, who I have met since 2017. I've known his wife before he got married and after he got married. I saw her about 1.5 years ago. Simlicron, Where's Waldo, has a copyright case against Barry. Hey, Sim. Well, we have the big hitters here. We have the big hitters. Thanks for stopping by, Sim. We were just talking about Barry Jordan has the hearts and minds of men in their thoughts. Imagine, Sim, Barry Jordan has moved up to the #1 blogger for Christmas 2023 in the hearts and minds of the people, and removing some of people's mental attributes and or some of the insanity that people believe they have. Barry Jordan has taken away what little sanity some of people have left. Barry Jordan, he has removed your mind. Barry Jordan, he is putting it in the hind. Barry, sticking it to you, baby. Sticking it to you. You are being stuck with Barry Jordan's stuff for Christmas time this year. Barry, happy Christmas, Barry, wherever you are. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So let's go back to the comments. Everybody's rooting for you, Barry. You, Barry, are #1, baby. You are #1. And everybody knows that #1 is #1. And you have taken over the minds and hearts of the YouTube community for Christmas 2023. That's right, baby. You're the man. That's not pepper on your eggs. Swamp Master just needs to go personally to visit the road. The Swamp Man's the Swamp. What a name you gave him. My God, that's quite the name. Swamp Master just needs to go personally to visit the Roach. The Roach. Where did you come up with that name, the Roach? He looks like a mantis, yes, but he does not look like a roach. Come on, dude. The mantis. Where is my picture of the mantis? I got Bing. My computer updated my computer with Bing. I'm not happy about that at all. Okay, I can't find my picture. Oh yeah, there it is right there. I have a different camera. I got so many different things going on here. Let's go here. Let's go back here. I can't get it out of here. I gotta close this. Close that. Close the search bar. Samsung Lagoon. Pig, injector, turkey, alpha male leg. Nope, I can't. I don't know where I gotta find it in a different way. Hold on a minute. I'll find Barry's picture. I could have used that picture today, but I did not. Barry looks like a praying mantis. Doesn't look like a roach to me. He doesn't look like a roach. Where's my pictures? Okay. Why can't we do this? I have a lot of problems with my cameras, and none of it stems from the programming in these. We're both about a year and a half old, and I am having trouble with both of my phones, what they do. And now, for instance, I should be able to get to my gallery. There it is. They moved, the button moved around. So I'll find you a picture of Barry. And he looks like a praying mantis. Waffle House University. Now my phone won't even... Look, my phone, look. See how my phone, watch, see my phone? See the lines in my phone? That's just one. It won't go to my gallery. It's not me, it's the programming of the phone. Okay? So we'll just pass that up. John Blaze. Oh, I know how to do this. John Blaze. Did anyone... Okay, so what are the biggie accusations? Let's get all the skinny out here right now. Don't be afraid to post anything you want about any other blogger or live streamer, because I'm gonna okay it. As long as there's no curse words in it, I'm gonna okay it. That's true. I'm gonna okay it. So, what are the... we need to know. We want to know. We need to know. Hello, Blazers, says John. The Swamp Master just needs to go personally visit the roach. That's not pepper on your eggs. Ah, Mike Dowdy with the Ta'i joke. The Ta'i. Waffle House training program is called Waffle House University. It is the only thing she graduated from. Same credentials as Bronx degree. Saying aye. The same credentials as Bronx degree. XV Solix. Anyone here from Bangladesh? No. But I knew a girl from Bangladesh. Her father owned, of all businesses, a rug factory. And she was one cool girl. I didn't date her, but I knew her. And I wanted to date her. I wanted to do a lot of things. Her father kept me away from her like a concrete wall. More comments have gone. All right, Hagante. I don't understand why the comments are disappearing. Must be a sea sucker mod. Yeah, the problem, Hagante, is if someone was removing your comments, I should be able to see on my live stream that your comments were removed. And I don't see that happening. And I'm being serious about that, because nobody should be removing your comments. YouTube is my life. Oh, we're going to get... And Jim Alva. Looks like Jim Alva is in now. Oh, Jack Doe. Hold on. Okay, I don't know, Hagante. It's not anybody that I will ask. If I find out who's removing Hagante's comments, I will remove you. Because Hagante has never once ever said anything negative on my channel. Where's Waldo, Hagante, Mike Dowdy, John Blaze, Bangladesh. And also the guy from Bangladesh, or the woman. Okay, so there was a place called Hand, H-A-N-D, Hand Block. Hand Block was a store that was on 79th and 1st Avenue. And there was an Indian from Bangladesh. And he sold natural dyed rugs and blankets and throws and decorations that you hang on the wall. And that man was one of the nicest men I ever worked for. He let me stay in his apartment somewhere in the 80s, the street of the 80s, on 1st Avenue with a view of the East River for the whole time I renovated his store. So I only know 2 people from Bangladesh or India. I think India and Bangladesh, I think it's the same country. They were 2 cool people. The father, the daughter, and the man I did the work from. Monkey I House Speed Rate. Cheers, mate. Phil R. Phil R, no doubt. Good on you, mate. Thank you, Phil R. Thank you for stopping by. John Blaze. If you play them backwards, you might hear the truth. If you play those songs that Barry sings, the stories that Barry tells, if Barry is telling you something, if you hear the words, rest assured it's bologna and cheese. But John Blaze says, if you play Barry's words backwards, you may hear the truth. Maybe you will hear the truth if you play the Jordan words backwards, 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 beating Barry backwards. A man could go deaf doing Barry Jordan backwards videos. That is the best sounding pot on the internet. Good night. How are you? Alexander. I'm doing okay, Alexander. That's a very powerful name, Alexander is. The only person I know named Alexander is, there's a man next door named Alexander. He's a cool dude from Europe. That's the only person I currently know. J Roblox Gamer, nice song. Oh yeah, I'm a real songster. I'm a real songster. Live stream, yes, it's live stream Jaden Roblox. Mad Chat Sports Tavern. YouTube is my life. Yeah, baby. YouTube is my life. And Aina, cha, thumbs up, hi, hello. You dropped the iPhone. No, the iPhone, no. The Samsung phone, that happens to a lot of the screens. I just bought a phone that happens to the screen. The Galaxy 21. I don't think the phone was dropped like a year and a half ago, but it did not affect the screen. And then the lines in the screen just started to appear. 3 months ago, there was one line, and then there was 2 and 3, and now there's probably 25 or 30. But no, the phone had not been dropped or wet or damaged since the original spill that it took. Let's call it a spill. So it had nothing to do with the original drop. It just happened. The guy at the Samsung store, these people, that happens, they say. Yeah, that happens. Well, how do you fix it? You buy a new screen. for $350. That ain't gonna happen. I'm desperately seeking Barry, says Flying Circus. No, thank you, Flying Circus. Iker Andre Alvarez Juarez. Woof. That's a lot of words there. Thank you for stopping by. So we have in case you guys don't know what we have here, we have a situation. We have a man, we have a man named Barry Jordan, number one, baby. And he has captivated the minds of many people. He went missing yesterday morning, and now there's 1,000 comments as to what could have happened to the great Barry Jordan. So no one knows for sure. So we have an open discussion. What do you think happened to Barry Jordan? Do you think Barry Jordan is working with Popeye to build up the anxiety for Barry Jordan's Christmas special? You want to subscribe to Barry Jordan's channel to build up to the Christmas special, for the Popeye's Christmas special is big. Is a very big build up. You want to grab a piece of the Barry Jordan. We could get his link up there. I have his link somewhere. Let me show you what he looks like. You're not going to like this, but I'll show you what he looks like anyway. Where? I can't even show you. Oh, yeah, I know how to do this. I'm going to show you what he looks like. Right now, I'm going to show you a picture of Barry Jordan, and then you'll see. If you see, there he is right here. This is Barry Jordan. This is the picture on his passport. When you see this picture, you know you are in touch with one of the world's most famous Philippines bloggers, Barry Jordan, a.k.a. the Mantis. The Mantis. Philip Janik. Hey, buddy. Hello, Philip. I see that you and the Enchanted Princess, I have a rendezvous, is that right? I saw some comments this morning that you, the Enchanted Princess, is staying at a 4-star hotel for 4 or 5 days, and she invited you over to the hotel. Is that what I saw this morning? Early, like at 5 o'clock this morning? That's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like she was inviting you over for a week of 5-star living. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like. Philip says he's laughing. He doesn't want to. There's a woman named Enchanted Prince. She has a YouTube channel. She actually does YouTube videos from exotic places in the Philippines, and I guess she's about in her late 20s or early 30s. Very attractive woman, and I saw her comments on Philip Janik's channel this morning about her staying in a 5-star hotel or 4-star hotel for 5 days or vice versa. And it looked to me that she was inviting Philip over for the week, that she was coming to wherever he was. I'm not sure. Now let's find out. Philip, what say you, Philip? He wishes LOL. Ah, okay. Well, it sure you know what? It sure sounded like that. It looked like that to me. It looked like that was, you got to remember, she's Filipino. They won't actively go after a man. You have to take the initiative. And they like that better. As do most women. But I would, if I were you, I would find out if she was hinting around about, 4 or 5 days and treating you to a 5-star lifestyle for an exotic vacation. Because I don't know, man, that's what she sounded like. I could be wrong. But I would think she's waiting for you to lay some of that Philip Janik Suave Cuervo stuff on her, whatever that Suave stuff that, take out some of that Latin lover in the Philip Janik. I would definitely work that if I could. If I could, I would. So if you can, you should. If I could, I would. And if you can, you should. Yeah, baby. That would be, it would be good for you. It would be good for her. It would be a good thing, for sure. So, Philip is a blogger as well. How come, what happened to your wrench? Oh, she likes Vietnam. I don't know. I don't know what she likes. I only just saw her on your channel, and then I looked at her channel. That's the only thing I know about the lady. And then she has many videos of all different places. I don't remember where they were, though. I only just looked at a channel for a minute to see what she was up to. But I know. So yesterday, I brought my phone, getting back to the fellow that said I dropped. These cell phones, in general, my phone has never, the iPhone, never been dropped that I know of. I mean, no one else has ever touched it, so it's never been dropped. It was an update, and the update caused the phone to go green screen, and I had to pay a man who has an electron microscope. And it took him to open the phone, put the phone back together. I got there at 2 o'clock. The phone was not finished. And he said, come back at 3. And when I got back at 3, it was done. So he opened up the phone, and he soldered 2 transistors back together. He just put a wet layer of lead. That's it. That's the fix on the computer. That's the fix that iPhone talks about. It took him whatever time it took him. I will give you the name of the place here. Mobile Works. Let's get this up on the screen. This place, the cheapest price in the entire mall by far. One price was 3,500 pesos in the ICM mall, and other prices were 5,000, and 6,500. So this place was half the price of one store, and he did the same job. So I would recommend this store, and it's directly opposite Thinking Tools on the 2nd floor of the ICM mall. All right, so let's go. Let's get this place right here. Okay. Mobile Works. Mobile Works. Cell phone repair. And here's the telephone number. I don't know what it is, but there it is right there. 0917-136-9880. And let's bring this back so you can get that. Okay, we've got to go this way. Mobile Works in the ICM Mall. And he did what he said he was going to do. He has an electron microscope. He soldered it back, and the phone is working. That's why I'm doing this live stream today. And I'm letting the phone, right now, it's warmed up. The phone gets hot when you live stream. And so right now, the live stream is working, but not landscape mode. I don't know why that's not working, but okay, that's not working. And I can't see my mail. I cannot see my mail. I even mailed myself mail this morning, and I can't see my mail. So it stopped working on November 9th. So I didn't have a phone for the last 10 days. Yesterday I got it fixed, but my mail isn't working. But the camera is working fine, and then my next test will be when it stops raining. I'll use the drone, because I need this phone to operate my Air 2S drone, which I want to use, and I wanted to use it last week. And, well, I couldn't use it because the phone stopped working. But so it's a place that fixes the phones, and it's about half the price as some of the other places, but he did a good job. And it's a nice little store. It's very clean. It's a cell phone repair. It's not one of those repair shops where they have junk all over the table, like my table. It's not like my table at all. It's a nice, very professionally little store. So Mobile Works in the ICM Mall, opposite Thinking Tools, the electronics repair sales store, which I would never buy anything from Thinking Tools, but it's right across from them. Sucks when you get new love interest and you got to train them to close the toilet seat. I don't know what that's about. Flying circus. Nice Adam's apple. Wait a second. What are you, Flying circus? Where was your? What are you talking about? Who has an Adam's apple? Hey, what happened to the guy that was going to talk about? What happened to that guy that was going to talk about what was it, Big Kevin, you said? Gabriel Luxon. What happened? Did anyone catch the Big E accusations on Kevin's live yesterday? I don't watch Kevin. I don't watch any. I have not watched. I watched about 5 minutes of Big Kevin's channel about 3 weeks ago. I don't watch his show. I don't watch much. I like Popeye shows. Nico is flying around all over the Philippines doing the stuff that people that come to the Philippines should do. He's going to different islands and stuff like that. But I don't need to see Sigior Island or Malapasco because I'm not going there, and they don't interest me. Actually, to go there, but I see him doing a lot of shows, and I don't watch his stuff. So where are the accusations? That's what we want the nitty gritty here. Who said what? Did anyone catch Big E's accusations on Kevin's show? What accusations? We want to know. We need to know. This is YouTube, baby. Let's get this stuff out there. Don't hide the goods. So I'm waiting. I'm going to go down to the bottom again. I expect to see accusations flying on the bottom of my page. What is the name of you? John Wick? Gabrielle Loxon. John Wick. John Wick. Okay, so what is this comment here? Gabrielle. Come on, Gabrielle. Don't leave us hanging. Barry's leaving us hanging low enough, high enough as it is. Gabrielle said this. What is the accusation? Tell us in no uncertain terms. Lay it out there. Lay it out there. Lay it out there. Philip just threw an LG phone away. I don't know what that is. LG phone. I don't know. That's what he is, the big ego. So, and I hope that he comes through and helps Barry get what Barry needs to get out of where Barry is in. I really do mean that. He's using the name you gave. That's good. That's good. So, if I say it, rest assured, people listen. People listen. They heard that name. That was a long time ago I gave him that name. I'm glad that he found some humor in that. But he needs to get Barry out of jail. He's the only person out of detention. Barry's not in jail. Look. You guys, Barry does a lot of things, and Barry says a lot of stuff, but Barry is not in jail at this time. He might be today, but he was in detention yesterday. Detention and jail, as Barry said, are two different things. In order to be in jail, you have to be arrested pending future charges or pending a trial. Okay? Detention is something different. I don't believe Barry's in jail. He's in detention. Different than jail. Now, he may have gotten charges against him yesterday morning. That's another long shot possibility. He might have got the charges from Frank, and Frank's been talking about the charges for, I don't know, since long before he donated the TV to the school, and that was back in October 9th, to be more precise. But Barry's been talking about, Frank's been talking about the charges hitting the court system. Barry could have gotten the charges against him. Now, the only way to know is to ask Frank. Somebody got to make the move. Frank, and Frank's lawyer would have known this, and Frank would have made a video about this already. There's no doubt that Frank would have made a video. If the charges were implemented, there would be a video. Maybe 2 videos, maybe 3, and maybe 4. I heard the other day he did 9 videos. 9, I heard. That was the day after he quit. He did 9 videos. He did 9 videos in a day. Barry got him all twisted up, man. Barry got him twisted up like you wouldn't believe. Let's see, what do we have? Bill Smith is in the house. I'll get to that comment in a minute, Bill. Philip Janik. I only saw that he offered another guy a trip to the Philippines. He's trying to buy more friends. Yeah, that I saw somebody talking about that. Now, I've been talking about that for a very long time, that he bought and paid for Big Kevin's friendship. That's my belief. I believe that. And I believe that he's paid Big Kevin's overstay fees of somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 US dollars. I believe that he agreed and admitted that. And I also believe that he offered Big Kevin a plane ticket if Big Kevin, we'll get all the nonsense out now. If Big Kevin went down to 280 pounds from 430, I think he was, if he lost 150 pounds, he would buy Big Kevin a plane ticket, because Big Kevin was too big to fit in the seat, or because it would be healthy for Big Kevin. One of those two things is true, maybe both. So Big Kevin was coerced to come to the Philippines and helped the monetary aspect of Big Kevin's trip to come to the Philippines. And I know this for a fact, when Big Kevin and Chi and myself and Big E were all friends, Big E is very generous. He was on my Patreon page for about 3 months, and he had a $50 donation pledge for those 3 months. He also told me at the time he was paying Big Kevin, subsidizing Big Kevin's funds, because Big Kevin couldn't make it on his own, and he hadn't yet collected Social Security, and it was $200 a month. Now you can call me a liar, but I would go on a lie detector or whatever kind of truth serum that you want, and I would swear to that. So Big E subsidized Kevin's minimal income to the tone of what he said, $200 a month. Could be more, could be less. But he's very generous with his money. Okay? And that in order to get Chi Corsairs off the internet, in order to get her to stop making those saran wrap my body videos, he paid her $200 a month to stay off of YouTube from doing the peanut butter on the eggplant videos and the saran wrap in the shower videos. That's what he said, okay? Now, you could call me a liar, or you could call him a liar, but who on this genre that I say did certain things, said certain things, was accused of saying certain things, who on this genre do you know that it was proven that what I said and all I said was true? Flying Circus is here. He can post those videos if you want to see them. But if I said what I said, and I did say what I said because I said what I said, and what I said was true, and if what I said that I said was true, and if I said what I said is true, then what I said then is true, and what I say now is true. And he told me he gave Chi $200 a month to subsidize her income, to stop doing the saran wrap my body videos in the shower, and stop making the peanut butter on the eggplant videos where they were in the street putting peanut butter on eggplants and then licking the peanut butter off. I say that's true. It's true. Okay? So, that's true. So now, Flying Circus is still here. Flying Circus can confirm that what I said is true. What I said is true because what I said is true. And Flying Circus knows what I said is true because Flying Circus had the videos to prove what I said is true. And then he put the videos on YouTube to prove that what I said is true. So when we say that Big E is very generous, he's a very generous man. $200 a month subsidy for Big Kevin. How long that went on, I don't know. $200 a month for Chi Corsairs to stay off YouTube, stop making saran wrap my videos. That's all true. Let's see what we got here. Bill Smith says, hey Mike, hey Bill. Bill Smith is all over the internet, and Bill Smith is a truth sayer. Every once in a while, you'll see him go to somebody's channel and speak 2 or 3 sentences of truth, usually in the negative. In the negative. Thanks for stopping by, Bill Smith. Philip Janik says, I wish I could remember who it was. I forgot because I really wasn't paying attention. Okay. Gabriel Larson, he was offering a lucky guy a trip to the moon and back. Wow. Wow. I heard, now I don't know if what I heard is true. And like I said, I'm trying to catch up with the XMAS right now. I'm just having a little fun. This is what I heard. I want to get this right. I heard that, well, I heard this from Frank. Okay, so I heard it in a live stream that Frank was talking about. So you know how, wait, let me show you how. See this coin? It has a tails, and it has a heads, right? If you want to know if Frank is telling the truth, all this coin has to do is land on the edge and stay there. That's all it has to do. So if Frank is talking about somebody else, you can't do heads or tails. You can't do it. Like, the coin has to land on the surface and stay there like that. It's got to land in a crack. It could be you could use an old wooden floor. If it lands in the crack of the old wooden floor, then Frank is telling the truth. Or it could just land on the edge of the coin, which happens every 200,000 or 300,000 throws. Or it could be a metal coin and land on a magnet. Where's my magnet? Could land on a magnet. Where's my magnet? My magnet gone. Could land on a magnet like this. Boom. If the coin lands on the edge, Frank is telling the truth. But I heard from Frank a couple of days ago in words, no face, no case, no face. I heard in words that Frank heard a story that may or may not be true, because now you have to have 2 coins that simultaneously land in a crack, because Frank heard from somebody else that Big E was hanging with a ladyboy. Those were the words that I heard Frank say. He was hanging with a ladyboy. And I don't believe a word of it, because I dropped these coins. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning dropping these coins, and not once did they ever land on the edge. And that's the only way you could tell if Frank is telling the truth. The coins have to land on the edge, and they have to stay there during at least 6.5 earthquake on the Richter scale. Okay? So I didn't see any Richter scale earthquakes, and none of the coins landed on the edge. Therefore, we can eliminate what Frank said. That's the only way to know that Frank is telling the absolute, that's the absolute God's honest truth. But if Frank is not telling the truth, well then, that would be a miracle. A miracle if he's telling the truth, I say. Miracle. He was offering a lucky guy a trip to the moon and back, and that's what Frank said. Frank said that. Frank said the same thing, but Frank said it wasn't a guy, it was a ladyboy guy. That's what Frank said. I heard him say that. I heard it. It's on the fake Frank Battaglia channel. Rachel Moore, right? Rachel Moore. Hey, welcome to the machine. Rachel Moore. Hello. The boring kangaroo. The boxing kangaroo. Hey, Mike. Talking about the dust on the moon interfering with the space shuttle instruments, I think it would have an effect on the rocket engine itself. Why? The dust would have gotten blown out in a cavity underneath the space module, the lunar module. And then the dust would have been blown out. It would go on the outside of the rocket cone, what's called a cone, but it wouldn't affect the injector, the fuel injectors. No, that's not going to happen. Not only, there's no way they landed on the moon. That's a story for another day. We'll go back to that story another day. But there's no way they landed. Montaz Hussein, love that name. Barack Hussein Obama. Welcome to the machine, Hussein. Flying Circus says, supposedly Kevin is going to Vietnam first, and the Big E isn't happy, is the rumor. Now, I heard that too. I heard from the grapevine. I need water. You guys give me about 15 seconds to get some water, please. I have ice water being made right now. I need about 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna have a piece of candy, my first piece in 3 days, and I got a bottle of cold water, not ice, but it's close to ice. It could freeze up when I open up. Okay, I have a nice choco candy. I had one 3 days ago. I'm on a diet, you know. I had one of these 3 days ago, and I'm gonna have one today. First, I'm gonna have some water with lemon. That's cold. That's very cold. Now, I heard, getting back, see how I don't lose my train of thought? I don't drink. Now that's going on 3 years too. I stopped drinking alcohol. I think I drank last Christmas with Scott. I had a glass of beer sometime in May or April, 1/2 a glass. The year before that, nothing. No alcohol the year before that. The year before that, we was drinking because of the pain in my leg. And that's pretty much all gone now. In fact, I haven't taken an ibuprofen since 3 o'clock this morning, so it's almost 12 hours. Usually I take one every 12 hours, and I have no pain. The pain in the leg is going away, and so are the wounds. Michael Dowdy, I didn't get to send you those pictures yet. In fact, I could do that now. I can't show you the pictures of my leg on YouTube because it will void out my the possibility of getting AdSense. I'm not going to send them right this minute, Michael, but I am going to I do have your address on my screen, Mike Dowdy. So you will get those pictures later on. I'll make a video for you from today. Because Mike Dowdy had the same type of a wound on his leg that I had. And he had to go to the hospital for that. And I'm taking this product called ciprofloxacin. And it's working. So let's get this off of here. Let's go back to the comments. I heard Flying Circus. I heard that story. I heard that Kevin, now I didn't know whose money he took, but I heard that Kevin took a lot of money, not a little bit of money, a lot of money from somebody and used it for a different purpose. That's what I heard. And I would not be surprised about that at all, because when it comes to Kevin, that boy is as big of a fraud as any other e-beggar that's ever lived in the YouTube genre. Or one might say he was the original e-beggar. He has collected if it's true that Big Ego has been subsidizing his income of $200 a month for 5 years, 12 times 5 is 6. Excuse me. 12 times 2 is $2,400 a year. For 5 years, that's $12,000 US dollars. That went to Big Kevin if that $200 a month was maintained for the 5 years since the Big Ego said that he was helping Kevin out. If that money was an automatic into Kevin's. Now, about 2 years ago, Kevin messed up with his credit card. Here's a guy that lives in his aunt's basement with no bills and no Social Security, because he wasn't old enough to collect Social Security at the time for whatever reason. Here's a guy that's been on SSI for how many years, lives in his aunt's basement, and didn't have $300 US dollars. $300 US dollars. Because he overdrew on his credit card. And the Big Ego helped him out, pay the bill. So, that happened. Everybody heard that it happened. Everybody knows that the Big Ego helped him out. Then, 3 years ago, the Big Ego said, I will pay you your overstay fees, and I will give you a ticket to come to the Philippines. If you lose 150 pounds, whatever it was. He had to go down to 285, I think. So Big Kevin went on a diet. Congratulations on the diet. And then the Big Ego, I heard, I don't know if it's true, paid Big Kevin's overstay fees, which were $7,000, but they made a deal with immigration to pay off the fees. Somehow they got a discount. They paid it all off at once. I don't know. I don't know about the backroom deals that they made. It could be just something simple. You want this much, and we'll give you this much, and you say yes, and the Philippines said yes, okay, whatever. So it was 10 years that Kevin was in the Philippines. 10 years, 10. Napolo, 10. Isa, Duha, Tulu, Opat, Lima, Onom, 10. Napolo. Napolo years, 10 years, he never paid his immigration fees. And then, of course, what happened to Kevin happened to Kevin. So here's a guy that gave Big Kevin $5,000. I think the deal was worked out to pay the overstay fees. Another $1,200 a year for 5 years. That's $6,000. 6 and 5 is $11,000. $11,000. And then $3,000 for a round trip ticket is $14,000. And I heard that Big Kevin took money from somebody and didn't do with the money what he was supposed to do with the money. That's what I heard. But like I said, I did not hear that from Frank. I don't think I heard that from Frank, but I might have. Frank says, in case you haven't noticed, Frank says a lot of things. I remember Frank talking. Frank did say that Frank said Big E was bringing a ladyboy to the Philippines. Could be those two things are the same thing. Could be that. I don't know. I know that. I don't think Big Kevin is a ladyboy, so I don't know. You'd have to ask Frank. Somebody go ask Frank. What's going on, Frank? And bring a coin. Bring a coin with you. And when you ask him a question, flip the coin. If it's heads, he's lying. If it's tails, he's lying. If it lands on its edge, he's telling you the truth, baby. Good old the word. The word is the bird from the Frankster. So, I heard that Kevin took a lot of money from somebody and didn't spend it the way it was supposed to be spent from somebody somewhere. And I heard that the Big Ego was also buddying up with a ladyboy. Now, I don't believe that because I didn't see it. But it's what I heard, And those guys like to spew out what they hear, so I can say what I hear. Now, I'm not saying any of that is the truth. The truth is, I heard that Kevin got $200 a month. The truth is, I heard that Biggie paid his immigration fee at $5,000 or $7,000. That's true. And I know for a fact Biggie gave him the $300 to square up with his credit card. Plus, how many hundreds of 20s and 10s and 50s did Big E give him over the course of the year? I don't know. Because Big E could give him money where you don't see it go. It goes directly into his PayPal. I don't know what deal they have, but I know that I would not pay $12.50 and take an hour of my time to visit Big Kevin. I don't see anything at all in Big Kevin's personality that I would spend any time talking to or be with or go want to do anything. What can you do with Big Kevin? The serious question, what can you do with Big Kevin? What is it that you could go and do with Big Kevin? He don't drink. I don't think he drinks anymore. But would you want to... I don't drink. So I wouldn't want to go to a bar with him. He's not at 285 pounds, he's not going to go kayaking. He's not walking up and down any hills because he had that knee accident last year. And walking up and down hills is not something that he can do at his weight. I know, because it would be hard for me to do at my weight. And when I was 285, it was almost impossible. And I was younger. So now Kevin, he can't walk up and down mountains. He's not going kayaking. He don't swim. Big Kevin don't swim. He can't ride a motorcycle. I doubt that. If he can, he can. But I don't think he can. So I would say he can't. What are you going to do with Big? What are you bringing Big Kevin here for? The harem. That's right. He had the carrot on the string. But it's his money, as Frank likes to say. He can do what he wants. So, listening to the gab on YouTube, I've had quite a bit of that. Supposedly, says Flying Circus, he's got his finger on the pulse. Flying Circus says, Kev is going to Vietnam first, and Big E isn't happy is the rumor. Another rumor. Okay, thanks, Flying Circus. Kev is following my lead, Flying Circus. Okay, so Philip Janik. Now, I went to Vietnam. I was sick. I got on the plane and got sick. I saw the Russian War Museum, the American War Museum. I saw the inside of Ho Chi Minh Airport. I walked around a little bit, and I didn't see much in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City to do. So you tell me, Philip Janik, what is there to do in Vietnam? I know Allo did something that was really cool by the river, where you shoot the 50 caliber machine guns, the Ho Chi Minh River, I think it was. Well, he did the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I was too sick to even walk. I could walk 100 feet, and I had to sit down or lean up against something. I was sick for 11 days. I was really sick. I got COVID. I even got tested positive for COVID and got quarantined. They said you cannot leave. And even when I took the second test, after 6 days, they said, come back in 6 days. I passed. I don't know how. It was a miracle, I tell you. Okay, so what is Big Kevin going to do in Vietnam, though? That's my question. What is he going to do when he gets there? I'm not, by no means, never would I think about going to a war museum that I went to in Vietnam. I went to see the planes and helicopters because I'm an A&P licensed mechanic. So I went to see what they flew during the war. And I also enjoyed looking at the various bombs, and there's a replica of a prisoner of war camp. But if it was only the prisoner of war camp, it wouldn't interest me at all. So what else is there to do? They got great food there, better food than the Philippines. Oh, 10 times better. The food in the Philippines, in Vietnam, is better than the food here. The water is better. The coffee is better. The vegetables are better. The meat is better. The cooking is better. The bread is better. Everything food-wise is better. But it's no reason to go to a country. So what else, Philip? What else did you do in Vietnam? And everybody that ever went there said that Vietnam is not the place to go to pick up women. Not that Suave Kevin is going to pick up women with his Suave bowler. Hey, somebody else is in the house. Cool Melon. Hey, Cool Melon. That's a cool name. Cool Melon. So you have a cool head, is what you're saying. Cool head. The Boxing Kangaroo. Hello, Flying Circus. My name is Michael Thomas Fazio. Michael Thomas Fazio. It's on my channel. I could open up my channel for you. I put my name on my channel. I'll give it to you right now. Here's my name, Michael Thomas Fazio. So I'm waiting for Philip to answer that question. Okay, Cool Melon, the name is in the description box, in the chat box. Junior is here. Junior Grip. What's going on here? Wait a second. Junior Grip. Good evening, friend. My name is Junior. I'm from Brazil. Brazil! Where are you from? I'm from New York City, but I'm living in the Philippines. I'm from New York City, Queens, New York, which is a quarter of a mile. I lived away from Kennedy Airport in Queens, New York City. And then I lived in the Florida Keys in Key Largo, the dive capital of the world. And now I live in the Philippines, baby. I could show you where I live, but it will take about 15 seconds to open up the window. It stopped raining. I'll show you exactly where I live. And then you'll know where I live. And then if you see somebody on the thing that says, where do I live? You can say, he lives over there. And where he lives is a nice white sand beach. Because when you look out my window, that's what you see, a white sand beach and an ocean. And right now, with the moon the way it is, you're going to not only see a white sand beach, but you're going to see a reef. I had the window closed because it's been raining for the last 3 days here, but now it's nice now. So here's where I live. That's the backyard. And those waves out there by the yellow barge, that's a nice reef to go snorkeling or diving. And where the barge is about 45 feet of water. And on the inside of that is like 7 or 8 feet of water. That's my view. Terrible view. Did you see that? The wind was right in the way of actually seeing the reef. The wind was blocking the view of the white sand beach and the ocean, yeah? It's 1:19 in the afternoon right now, 1:19 afternoon. Manda Slav, Pramingha ang Kabalodo, Manga Slav. Miley says, let's see what that says. Miley says, I'm not, look, if that's not, wala kasabut. I don't know what language that, what dialect that is. Okay, I'm not saying what it means, but thanks for stopping by, Miley. Miley, Manda. Does Manda mean anything? Manda, M-A-N-D-A. Manda start the beginning of mandatory. There's no women in Vietnam. Well, I mean, I don't go to bars. So I'm waiting for Philip to tell us what's in Vietnam. Because Philip was in Vietnam, and I don't ever remember Philip making videos about anything other than coffee shops and food. And that I've heard other people that went to Vietnam didn't, that it's not a place to go pick up women, not like the Philippines. That's what I heard. I don't know. I don't give that much thought because I don't have anything to do with that kind of a lifestyle. Okay, I can't figure out what Miley said, but thanks for stopping by, Mila. You probably don't speak English, and I don't speak that language. Ah, Kookabeluda. Maybe you're asking me if I understand your language. No, I don't, Miley. I don't understand, but thank you for stopping by. I don't blame him for not going to the Philippines. I'm sure he doesn't like hot dogs. Now, I don't think Kevin goes that way at all. I don't think. There's a lot of things I think about Kevin, but Kevin with another man, I don't see it. I don't see any interest that he would have in another man. For Phillips, says the lot has waterfalls, okay. Roller coaster, okay. And cool weather plus food and coffee is great. Okay, well, that's what I noticed. The food, well, when I went, the weather was, no, the weather thing. The weather was blaring hot, just like and I went in August, and the weather was blaring hot. Okay, so that's not true. Maybe it was cool when you went there in October, but in August it was blaring hot. Philip Janik, he'll visit the massage parlor women. Ah, they have that there. Okay. See, I didn't do that. No, Solchi Papa. No, I do not speak Spanish. Sorry about that. I don't know. I don't know Spanish. I grew up in New York, but not in a Spanish neighborhood. I don't even know Italian, and I'm Italian. So my parents didn't speak a foreign language. They spoke only English. But welcome. Let's give Sochi and Miley and Sochi, Miley and Sochi and Sochi and Miley. Let's give them a little pot. Miley is here, Sochi is here, Sochi, Miley, they are here. Merry Christmas. All right, so I'm going to end this stream in a few minutes. Big J. Smith, nice view, but scary if there's a tsunami. Oh, yeah. Wow, we got a great view of the ocean. We got a fantastic view. When I look out now, from now until January, every night, as soon as it gets dark, as soon as what you were looking at, as soon as it gets dark, we have a lightning storm every day for 4 months, every day. I mean lightning. I could show you. I'll show you lightning. I will show you lightning. I will show you lightning. We have lightning storms. You wouldn't believe some of the lightning storms that we have here. And I've been watching them now every winter for 8 months. Where is that house? I have a lightning. I have a video right here. That house you see there, that's lightning. That's the middle of the night a few weeks ago. That noise is rain. Here we go. You see the lightning in the back of the screen, in the back of the house at, well, there's like 4 or 5 lightning bolts at a time hitting the water out in the ocean. That lightning goes like that for a solid 20 minutes. And then it gets close to this house here. And then when it booms, it rocks the entire world. I mean, we get lightning like you wouldn't believe. Okay, I don't know where the thunder boomers are, but I'm not sure the sound. Anyway, we have lightning storms here where the lightning hits every 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. Like that. And that was a few days ago, though. That was not today. But we had one yesterday just like it. Just like it. I mean, exactly like it. Yesterday's lightning was. Okay, I'm going back to my stream now, and then I'm probably going to end the stream. So thanks for stopping by. Okay, let's turn this around. Yeah, I'm probably going to end the stream because yeah, I have no idea. Okay, Philip, thanks for stopping by. Ingat, Pod. Philip is our resident right now. Our resident, he likes women. There's no doubt about that. So let's moving on. Thanks for stopping by. All right, everybody. I don't understand why this is happening. I'm not real sure. I'm losing the power in my okay, it's charging, but it's using more power than that's going in. My charging unit, that's another thing. That thing is old, though. That thing is going on 4 years old. All right, then, everybody, thanks for stopping by. And I'm being Permy from the Philippines, which, of course, means take care always. From Michael Fazio in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now. Anybody have anything else to say? I'll give you another 30 seconds. Claude. Well, we have a new name here. Claudia Ugarte. Claudia Ugarte. KKKKK, baby. Ochok Bolama. Hello. Okchokbolama. Scary and beautiful at the same time. It is. Living on the ocean. I've lived on the ocean. I've lived on the water more years than I've not lived on the water. I've even actually lived on the ocean and the Great Lakes for a total of 6 months with no. The only time I ever hit shore was to buy fuel and food, traveling on a barge. So I've been on the water, and then I worked on tugboats and barges and cranes and stay on the water for a week or 2 weeks at a time on a tugboat. And yeah, that was fun, but that's the old days. Love you, bye-bye. Tanamite said, love you, bye-bye. Salamat. Love you too. Bye-bye. All right, well, thanks, everybody. I don't know where all of these people are coming from. Oh, the phone went green. I could stay on here. The phone went green. It just went green. All right, hold on a minute. Let me get something. You know what I could do? I could put this on here. Hold on. No, I can't do that. And I can't do that. I could do this, though. Oh, that works nice. That works really nice. Hold on. I dropped my, all right. What am I looking for? My water. Yeah, baby. This is the view. Now the tide is going out. Look at that power pole's right in the way. Blocking the view. Oh, well, there it is. Blocking the view of the ocean. Blocking. Hello. Someone said hi in an Asian language. Good afternoon. See, outside the blue water, that's what they call blue water, that's the ocean. If you could swim out that far, which I can, that's 400 feet from here, 400 feet away. No, excuse me. It's 400 feet from the beach, which doesn't seem that far, but when you're swimming, a lot of people can't go 400 feet. That prevented me from going out to dinner last night with a woman I met in the city. So, the blue water is deep water, 40 feet plus, down to several hundred feet as you get out further. And then the green water is only 3, 4, 5, 6 feet deep. And it's white now because the sand is kicking up from the ocean waves. So that's the terrible view I have from my shack. No sharks. No sharks in the Philippines. No. There are somewhere. There is a shark water somewhere. I forgot where the sharks were. I think the place that has the most beautiful islands and beaches in the Philippines. One of them is Palawan, and on one side of the island, which is of Coron, Palawan. I don't know about Palawan proper. There's sharks on the far side of Coron, Palawan. That's where they throw the food from all the restaurants from the island of Coron. And there's one other place that there's sharks. But that's far from here. That is 350 miles away. Something like that. Maybe more. Maybe longer. Maybe 400 miles. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's and those white waves that you see out there, those are big waves. Big, not big compared to where I used to live in New York City. In New York, we would get 2, 3 foot, 4 foot waves in the summer. In the winter, 7, 8, 9 footers. But here, a big wave is 3 feet, 4 feet. They're out there now. Time of night. Tramonite. I want to live by the ocean, says Tramamite. It's a beautiful thing to live near the ocean. I have a video coming up. I made it last week. It's a video. Oh man. It's the last commercial piece of property big enough to put a huge hotel complex on. It's right next door, 150 feet that way. They're going to build 1,800 rooms on this piece of land that used to be owned by a guy from Switzerland or Denmark. It's big, the property. It's 600 feet wide and 800 or 900 feet deep. And it's right on the ocean, right on the view that you see I have here. That's the view for the other property. But we don't have sharks here. We have man-o-war jellyfish, and we have sea snakes, coral snakes. When the coral snakes, and we have box jellyfish too. Box, B-O-X. Those things, my God, those things are, they will dismember you. You will not live through a box jellyfish encounter. And they're big. You could be swimming. There's a lot of things that you can do in the ocean that are a lot of fun. But here, we have box jellyfish. Sea snakes, they very rarely bite anybody. But a box jellyfish could be about this big. A little bigger than a garbage pail cover. And then they have these tentacles that hang down, thousands of them. And they're as long as 15 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, depends. Even just touching your hand, like one touches your hand like that, your hand maybe, just a little strand like this. Here, look, see this thing here? See this rubber band? If this was a box jellyfish and it just went like that and just across your hand like that, your hand will swell up this much. Once I was diving and a little piece touched my lip like this. A little piece. I was swimming, and when I looked up, I had a mask on. It just touched my lip. My lip blew up almost as big as my nose, all the way across my face like that. And just touched it. Just brushed it. I didn't eat it, didn't land on me, didn't stay there, wasn't attached to me in any way. It just brushed across my lip. The last time I went swimming, about a year ago, about a year and a half, with a mask and snorkel, I was swimming and I looked up from the bottom, and there was one as big as a garbage pail. The whole garbage pail with the tentacles swimming down. I was 10 feet away from it. I didn't go anywhere near it. But if I would have swam into that, I think you would die. I think that you wouldn't live through that. I don't know for sure. I think you would not live. Because where I was swimming, well, I wasn't swimming near the shore. I was out in the blue water, not near the shore. So I was already 500, 600, 700 feet out in the ocean. Not 500 feet from the beach, but another 500 feet past the reef. I was looking for turtles. We have big turtles out here, big, like turtles 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet in diameter, in length. Leatherback turtles and humpback turtles. They don't come near shore. And what they eat is jellyfish. So when I go swimming, I go out looking for the turtles, and during jellyfish season, but they eat. The man-of-war jellyfish are only this big. Those, you get hit by one of those, it hurts. But you could make it back to shore. But those other ones, the box jellyfish, you won't live. Probably would not live. Jellyfish. DNC, welcome to the machine. Yeah, DNC is in the house. Thanks for stopping by. Those are nasty. Oh, these, the ones we have out here too. You look at them. Look, if you don't see it and you swim into it, you're probably not going to live. Maybe I would live, maybe not, because I float. So maybe I could figure out if I could take the pain and I could stay on my back and float and somehow work my way into shore. But if you don't float, some people that don't have a lot of body fat, they sink. If you don't float, you have no chance of swimming through one of those and then getting back to shore. There's just no way. I can't imagine how much pain there would be. I've gotten stung by man-of-wars once when I was about 17 or 18, a couple of times here, a couple of times when I lived by Alona Beach. Bad. The pain is bad. But the box jellyfish, they're way bigger and way worse. The sting, oh God, those things, they hurt like you wouldn't believe. I'll find one on the internet. I'll show it to you. Box jellyfish, Philippines. Here it is. An estimated 20 to 40 people die of jellyfish stings every year in the Philippines. Box jellyfish occur in shallow waters. Can you survive a box jellyfish sting? Tropical anti-inflammatory creams may be helpful. Portuguese man-o-war and sea nettle stings are really deadly. That's the Portuguese man-o-war. That's the one I said I got hit with a couple of times. Certain box jellyfish stings can kill a person in minutes. There you go. That's what I mean. That swimming here is very dangerous. And other box jellyfish stings can lead to death in 4 to 48 hours after a sting due to it messes up your blood, kind of like a rattlesnake or a poisonous snake. So, how poisonous is a box jellyfish? Very. They have tentacles covered with biological booby traps known as they're little darts. They're like fish hooks. They stick in your skin. And they're loaded with poison. They're it's like a syringe almost. So what happens is you get paralyzed, and then you go into cardiac arrest or death within minutes. That's why I'm saying that you really do have to be careful about swimming out here in the Philippines. If you're in 3 or 4 feet of water, you could probably stand up. Maybe you could get to shore, but maybe if you're really allergic to the poison, maybe you'll die anyway. And that's what one looks like. And they're big, though. They're big. They're like the size of a garbage pail. They could be the size of a basketball. Either way, if you get hit with the stinger here, oh, you are completely screwed. Is there an antidote? Well, if I'm out there by myself swimming, the answer would be no. So the jellyfish has about 60 tentacles that can grow up to 3 meters long. So I was saying they're 10 or 12 feet. So yeah, 3 meters is 9 feet. And they hurt. Are box jellyfish rare? They say they're very rare, but we have them in the Philippines. See, it says that they don't have them in the Philippines, but here it says here it says 20 to 40 people die in the Philippines every year. That's what it says right there. So, yeah, those are... So that's the one thing that prevents me from going out in the ocean alone. Now, I really don't... I haven't gone in the water in a year and a half anyway, but not because of that, but because of something else. And but when I did get stung by one of those, God, it hurt. Oh, man, did it hurt. Oh, forget about it. The pain, it's good. It's so bad, it's good pain. That's how bad it is. It's really bad. And it's bad. I hear a ringing. I think it's from the audio. There's no noise here. You can't hear the tinnitus in my ear, so that's not the noise. It might be from something else. but it's still safe in the shallow. Yeah, that's the thing about the box jellyfish, the big ones, the small, the man o' wars. They don't care where the man o' wars. They know that the water's getting shallow and they head out to the ocean. But the box jellyfish will come right up to the reef. Like the reef. Now the reef is big. The reef is, it's not like a bar of wood or a piece of wood. The reef is 100 feet across, in and out, from in and out. And the box jellyfish will go right up to where the reef is. And the thermal comes up from the bottom of the ocean, right at the reef. The cold water comes up, just the way the ocean works. The box jellyfish will stop short of going over the reef. It knows not to go over the reef. It knows not to go in shallow water. So the only time you'll see it in shallow water is during a storm, where it gets blown into shallow water. Somehow it gets caught in a wave or something like that. But even when there's a storm, they head out to sea. They have not a lot of intelligence. I guess if you were going to compare a box jellyfish to human intelligence, like they say that a box jellyfish is equal to, about as smart as Big Kevin. They're right at about the same level. So if you knew Big Kevin and you met a box jellyfish, the amount of brain matter would be equal. Some things the box jellyfish excels in over a Big Kevin ability, and some things that Big Kevin excels in. Like, for instance, Big Kevin, he's very good at buying electronic equipment. And he would be very good at floating. But the box jellyfish is a better floater and less capable with electronic equipment. So there's pluses to Big Kevin's skill sets, and I just named most of them. He can float, but not so good, and he knows about electronic gadgets with a green screen. And the box jellyfish doesn't know about green screen or electronic gadgets and can't float. So they're on an even keel. Now, an octopus, on the other hand, is smarter than a box jellyfish and Kevin put together. Octopi are very smart animals. They know who you are. They become attached to people. Mentally, they become attached to people. Like, they may have 5 or 6 people that will go down and dive in a certain place, and they'll know who the person is that's been feeding them for years or has been friendly to them. Octopi, regular octopus, the big ones, the ones like with the arms, but the small ones too. I used to dive in the Bahamas, Curacao, Bonaire mostly, but in that area, the not in the Eleuthera chain, but in the Bahamas, the Dutch West Indies. And there were octopi on the pier that we dove off the back of the Divvy Divvy Hotel. And the octopi would come and hang out with the divers. They were not afraid of the divers. But then there were other places that the octopi would only go to the dive master when we would go out to where the mushrooms were. There was a place in the Divvy Divvy Hotel in Bonaire Island, had mushrooms 10 feet in diameter under the water. And say, they may be smarter. I've never seen a jelly. they may. That's good. They may be smarter. I've never seen a jellyfish with a bolo sticking out of it. Let me show you where I used to go on vacation every year. Actually, it was on November 7th to the 17th. Actually, let me show. DNC. DNC. Oh, that's good. I never seen a jellyfish. And Big Kevin, we know he's not too smart. DNC humor gets them going every time. But that's some dry humor there. Well, wet humor. That's good humor. Good humor. That's like a good humor. The DNC. And Steve is still hanging in there. Let me show you guys where I used to dive. Remember we used to do the videos where Bronx Air was CGI. Those were the good old days. Those are the good old days. We had him CGI'd up pretty good. Let me show you where I used to go diving. This is true. Okay, so let me turn this around. I'm gonna show you one of the most beautiful. This was a vacation I went on every year for years and years with the dive shop. Let's go back over here. Let's go here. Oh, this is a beautiful place. So we're going to go to the Divvy Hotel. Oh, I got to turn this around. Thanks, Steve. Top-notch Fazio tonight with comedy. Top-notch. Let's go here. Let's see if we have a... Okay, we have the Divvy. D-I-V-I. D-I-V-I. Divvy Hotel. Divvy Hotel Bonaire. B-O-N-A-I-R. Bonaire. I-R-E. Okay, Divvy Hotel Bonaire. So this is the... What happened there? Hold on. Okay, let's show you the hotel. And this is in... This is on the island of Aruba, Bonaire itself, Bonaire proper. But you fly into Curacao, and that's the hub, and then you go to Divvy. So it's in the British West Indies. Okay, so let's go here. Let's book at the Divvy. Let's see the hotel. Your price, privacy, customize, reject, accept, okay. Accept. Okay, come on. Okay. All right, now, this place, other flights departing nearby Bacalo. That's not where we want to go. Okay, so the Divvy Bonaire. Okay, so right here, that can't be. Bonaire from 6. This is a different place. Cebu. No. We want to go to the Caribbean. Bonaire. Maybe there's another Divvy in the hotel. I looked up Bonaire, Google, right? Bonaire, right here, Bonaire, okay? Oh, boy. Just the Philippines internet is real garbage. Divvy Bonaire. Best prices, no booking fees. Okay, this place, whoa, the food in Bonaire, the seafood, an amazing thing. $25 a day, you get to eat all the lobster and shrimp and fish that you could possibly imagine. Show it on the map. That's a different place. This is not showing me where I stayed. The Divi Divi Hotel. Oh, man. You know what we'll do? We'll look it up on YouTube. Let's look it up on YouTube. Fazio is always funny. You just have to listen for it. Like Prunk CGI hair. Remember that? That was funny shit, man. That really was funny shit. Those were the days. Remember, I was living in my house in New York, and I ordered bagels, and the delivery guy came up the stairs speaking an Italian accent. That was my brother. Oh, Divi, D-I-V-I. Divi Divi Hotel. Bonaire. Divi Divi Bonaire. B-O-N-A-I-R-E. This was one of my favorite diving places that I went to. All over the world, probably this is the best dive site I ever was in. Okay, so I've been to all the tour places in Bonaire, including the Cactus Forest, which is the most amazing place, the quietest place I ever heard in my life. Divi Divi Flamingo Beach Resort. There it is right there. Okay. So, if I remember correctly, and I probably do. So the Divi Divi Flamingo Beach Resort is where I stayed, and it's right on the ocean. If this is on the ocean, then this would be the place. Yeah, this is it. So, nope, that's not it. Maybe they could have changed the way it looks in the backyard. Let's see. No, this is not it. But anyway, well, let's go Bonaire, and let's find giant mushrooms. Bonaire, giant GIANT mushrooms. MUSHROOMS dive. Giant mushroom diving. What happened? Giant mushroom. GIANT. Mushroom. MUSHR. Diving. DIVIN. You go under the ocean. Maybe in 25 feet of water. And there's these huge mushrooms. They're like 10, 12 feet in diameter. It doesn't show you the mushrooms. And you can go under the mushroom, under the dome of the mushroom, and there's air under there from people drop air from their tanks there. And the whole island, no matter where you are on the island, it's an old volcano. The whole island is just, you can walk off any beach on the island and you're on the side of a volcano on doing a wall dive. Then the wall is like at 25 or 30 degrees. So, scuba diving, 10 sites, Vista Blue Lighthouse. I can't believe you don't see the mushroom. I would have made a video with the mushroom and 10 dive sites. Let's take a look at that. And then, but anyway, this is the most beautiful place that I've ever dove and I've dove a lot of places. And they have unbelievable, the size of the manta rays, 15, 18 feet across and bigger. If you get to see them. It's this one taking pictures on the beach. We want diving. Anyway, so the water is clean, 80 degrees. The water, a 12-mile-an-hour wind blows over the ocean 24/7, 365 days a year. Never stops, the water. Never stops the breeze. And then this lady wants to be in the video. I want to see diving. She wants to talk about diving. Okay, so I don't know. Anyway, that's the best place I ever dove. And the food there. Here, look, see what it says. The world's best shore diving. Right here. That's because no matter where you go on the island of Bonaire or Curacao or Aruba, no matter where you go, there are 3 volcanoes. And the volcanoes are shaped like volcanoes. They're ancient volcanoes. And no matter where you go, no matter what beach, you are on a perfect dive site from everywhere on the island. There's no place that you can go on the island. But let's look up Bonaire Cactus Forest. C-A-C Cactus Forest. Now from here, from the Cactus Forest in Bonaire, there's a cliff. You can jump off the cliff that's 50 feet high, I think it was, about 50 feet. And it looks like you're jumping off into 3 feet of water. It's here it is, right here. Okay, so the Sanguaro National Park. No, that's not it. Bonaire. Okay, Cactus Forest, Bonaire. Okay, right here. This place, you go into the forest, and the forest it leads you up to the side of a mountain. And in the forest, now, is all cactus, and all throughout the forest, no matter where you go in the forest. See these are cacti, right? Where they have paths in here, like walking paths, trails. You could drive your car, like this guy's driving a car through it, right? And you walk in here about 200 feet into the forest. There's no airplanes, there's no cars, there's no boats, there's no railroads. It's so quiet in here, in the forest, that it hurts your ears because there's no ambient noise at all. And the only thing you might hear are goats running through this cactus with 2 and 3 inch thistles on the cactus. I mean, literally the thistles are like this long, that long. And the goats run through it, wild goats. They run through it at full speed. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And at the edge of the forest, this guy's not showing us the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest is a cliff. And the cliff is over the ocean. And when you look down off the cliff, it looks like the water's about 3 feet deep. But the water is actually 40 feet deep. And the way you know that is at the bottom of the cliff, there's a set of steps that when you're scuba diving, if you want to walk up to the top of the cliff to take a video or picture of the boat or something like that, it's the only set of steps that were there back in the 80s. So you walk up these steps, and the steps are 5 stories high, could be more, could be less, but 40 or 50 feet. and you walk up to the top of the cliff. Now you're diving in that water next to the steps. So you know for a fact the water is 35 or 40 feet deep. You know that for a fact. In other words, you're diving there. So we were diving there all day, and then Tiedeman's Dive Center in Long Island, Tiedemann, Ed and Jean Tiedemann, big dive center in Long Island. Our whole group of divers, and also some of the divers from the Panama Canal, some of the security, and one of the colonels and his wife, we all hung out together at the pool. So we go to the cliff, to the cactus forest. We go there, and then we know where we are because we have a map, because to get there by land is different than by boat. And we know the staircase is right where we were diving that day because that's the name on the map. And you look down at the water and it's so clean, it looks like it's like 3 feet deep. It doesn't look deep enough. So we were not drinking at all. We were a group of divers that didn't drink during the day at all. And so somebody said, let's jump off the cliff. So I said, let's go. I jumped. I know the water's deep. I didn't want to do it because it looked like it's 3 feet deep. But I'm going, we were just swimming there all day. We were just diving there. We did 2 tanks in that area, and we went right up to the cliff, and it was 30 feet deep. That was the wall dive we did, was the cliff. And I jumped off, and nobody else would jump off. And then I had to climb back up those stairs, and they were all laughing. They said, we were only kidding. And I'm going, what? It's only 50 feet. Let's go. Come on, we'll do it again. No one would go. So we spent like 3-4 hours in the forest because we started diving at 5:30 in the morning. In fact, me and the colonel and his wife and a few of the other dignitaries from the Panama Canal, they were actually the ambassador of the American consulate. I dove with that group of people for all the years I went to the Divvy between November 7th and November 17th. So it was the same people we dove with all the time. We would go out night diving. The tanks were on the dock, and you just grabbed the tank and gear and just went night diving. And when you came back, you put the tank in a separate place. So we were doing 2 and 3 dives a day, sometimes 4 dives a day. There were tanks on the beach, tanks on the pier. The pier dive was like 20 feet of water, and the beach dive was any amount you could go down to. You could go to 100 feet. You could go to 200 feet. I was at 175 feet. I was swimming with a manta ray. I grabbed onto the back of a manta ray, and it took me down, me and the dive master. Poof, did I get in trouble for that? The dive master saw us go past like this, and he's going, and we waved back at him, and by the time we realized where we were, it was 175 feet of water on regular air. We didn't have to worry about getting the bends because we were only down 3 minutes, but the manta ray took us 1/4 mile away from where the boat was, and we had to swim 1/4 mile back to the boat. And that took an hour and a half to go against the wind and the waves. And they were looking for us. All the boats were looking all around. They went everywhere except where we were. We ended up swimming most of the way back. We got in trouble for that. I got in a lot of trouble for that, actually. They didn't want to let us dive anymore with the group. They wanted to ban us from diving. You could do that. We'll just do shore dives. I didn't care. We didn't care. We were like all adults, too. I was 1980. I was 25 years old. They were in their 30s. And moray eels. Moray eels are plentiful there. You can feed them cheese out of the can. You could feed them Here, look at this beautiful fish right here. That is an amazing fish. The moray eels, when I say moray eels, I'm talking about moray eels that were 8 feet long, 8, 9, 10 feet long. The biggest moray eels I ever seen in my life. Massive green shadow slither. I wish I could go back there. And that would be, if I had 2 places to go back to, that would be one of them, the Divi Divi Hotel. And this is the island. Right. And it's the Dutch West Indies. Here's the cliff right there. Look at this. This is one of the... Here, look. This is... Oh, come on. You got to be kidding. I just saw people jump off the cliff and off right where the cactus was. Okay, I'll turn this around until I find that again. I don't freaking believe it. 2 people just jumped off the cliff from the cactus garden area. After. They just literally jumped off the cliff I was talking about, too. It's not even... Man, that is upsetting me a little bit, yeah. I see the cactus, but I don't see them jumping off the cliff. Man... I'm going to... And they have caves there in the mountains. It's really cool place to go to. If anybody is a diver, this is where you want to try to be. You want to try to get there. If I was rich, I would go back to this place to dive. If I only had one more chance to dive, you know, like one place to choose to dive, the best place I ever dove was this island here. There's no doubt about that. Let's turn this around. DOC says, LOL. LOL nothing, man. That there was 2 people jumping off the cliff in the air from the cactus garden area. It wasn't like... that they were sitting on the edge of the cliff. They jumped off. You see them flying through the air. I want to see that. I want to see it. I'm looking at... It can't be that far into the thing. Let's try that. I see a couple of girls. I'm fixated on this. Okay, here it is, right here. Well, the jump is pretty high, and it's actually not too deep. So you have to make sure that you go with someone who knows where the right place to jump is. Here it is. Here they are. These 2 girls are going to jump off the cliff. And right next to the cliff is the cactus forest. And that's what I said. We were in the cactus forest. You guys don't believe me. You think I make up stories. Except that I know my brain remembers this wonderful stuff I did throughout life. Not like you people that you sit on YouTube and you talk all day and you never show anybody anything. These two girls are getting ready to jump off that cliff, and below that cliff is where I dove, in the cactus forest, in that area, in the 1980s. So let's make this happen. Come on, girls, get ready to go. I have a good memory for fun things like this. There, look, see that cliff? See that cliff? This is where we jumped off of. Whoa! This is that. I stood right there on that precipice. Michael Thomas Fazio, I stood on that cliff in that spot at that cactus forest and jumped off right where those go. I did that. I did that. No, the one I dove off of was higher than that. Maybe that's not the one I jumped off. Maybe I got too excited by accident. They said it was pretty high, though. And I don't see any staircase. Where is that? 1354. 1350. Let's go back here. The jump is pretty high, and it's actually not so deep. Ah, man, I got all excited. I was the wrong thing. I was in a different place. But those girls, it looks like it's 3 feet of water. What am I doing? I'm looking for things from 40 years ago. Come on. Come on. That was pretty cool, though. That was a great vacation. Nah, the one I dove off of, this one is only 1, 2, 3, 4. This is only 25 feet. The one I dove off of was way higher, jumped off, and there was a staircase right at the bottom over here. There would have been a staircase. Now, I got all excited for nothing. Maybe it was a different cactus forest. Oh, man. Sorry about that. False alarm. But anyway, I was in that on that island at a cactus forest. I think that's a different cactus forest because it was much higher than that. It was way freaking higher than that. And there was a staircase right at the bottom. Maybe in another video. If I ever find it, I'll let you know. I'll tell you where it was. You guys have never jumped off of a cactus forest cliff. Name a car for an edit. A car. How about a 2001 Cobra ragtop? Mustang. Cobra Mustang ragtop. Warren von der Sloot hiding a body. DNC says LOL. I got all excited that was not the cliff, man. I don't know where that cliff was, and I don't see a staircase. Now, maybe they took the staircase away, or maybe it got washed away in a storm. But when you look down, where I was diving was 30 feet, so I don't know what they're talking about shallow. You got to remember, that was 40 years ago. Maybe there's another cliff in the same cactus forest. You got to go there. If you're a diver and you want to dive the most beautiful, see the fish, the corals, the water, the temperature of the water, that's the place to go. Bonaire. In fact, had I not had a business in New York, I would have moved there. I wanted to move there. It wasn't easy to do, though. You leave everything that you know, kind of like what I did here. But there would be no work, and I was 25 years old. You would not get a job on the island. Only the locals worked on the island. So, and the food there is the seafood. It was $25 a day. And you could eat all the lobster and fresh seafood and salads and toast and muffins. It was the best food. It was so good. Such a good vacation. That was pretty cool. That was when and it was expensive too. It was not cheap. It was something like $150 a day in 1980. So you made $50 a day, maybe if you were lucky, $70 a day. So you were spending 2 days' pay for 2 days. But that's with diving, $150 a day. But that would be $150 a day plus food, plus whatever food that you did. That was breakfast, $25 a day. You didn't get lunch or dinner. But maybe it was $200 a day. In 1980, that was a lot of money. Well, it was a lot of fun. But those were the days. All right, we're done. I'm done. My live stream is now going into 2 hours. No, my live stream is a little bit longer than that. 4 hours, 4.5 hours. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Bing Permy from the Philippines, baby. Realize I sat in this chair for 4.5 hours and didn't have to go to the bathroom, and I drank 2 of these. I'll be up all night. Bye-bye, DNC. Mila Play, bye-bye. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody, Steve, if you're still with us, thank you. Big J. Smith, Tranamite. Philip Janik is sleeping. Blake Moxie. Suman Rinku Vlog. Sir Join Suman Rinko Vlog, please join me. I think what you mean is to subscribe to you. Okay. Let's see. Take a look. Go to your channel here. Whoa, you have videos. All right. This lady has videos. I'm not sure what language. We'll subscribe. And then we'll go all. Suman Rinko Vlog. Let's put your channel up there. And we'll go back and post that. Subscribe. Oh, a lot of people pushed the thumbs up today. Thanks for that. The thumbs up are always good. Thank you. $22 thumbs up. That's a lot of thumbs up for me. Let's go back and take a look at the lady's channel. So she posts Whoa. Oh, look at this cup of coffee. Wow. You don't get coffee in the Philippines. Welcome to my live. Let's see. We got to pick one of these out. Good morning, friends. So you do long live streams as well. Nice. And you're also doing it in the portrait mode. Oh, what language is that? Hello, coffee house. All right, well, thanks for stopping by. 23, that was that last thumbs up was the coffee house. All right, I got to go. I actually have something that I want to do. It's going to take about an hour to do it. And have a nice day. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know when I get any, if I find out any more information, maybe there's information in my mail. People are sending me information in the mail. About Barry. Flying Circus. Barry's phone. No. Okay, hold on a minute. I have information. I have information about Barry Jordan. Let's end it with on a positive note. I'm trying to open up the mail now. Okay, it's not opening on that phone. Ah. How is this possible? Okay, so I just got information on Barry Jordan. He has no lawyer. He has no lawyer. Thanks for that information. Thank you for that. His pleadings and entry of appearance will be filed in court and furnished to his adversary. Let's go back over here. He has no attorney. Poor Barry. DNC, I mean Big E, Big Ego. Please help Barry. Barry, if he had a lawyer, would have already filed a plea and court appearance, etc., according to my attorney. So, somebody said that knows Philippines law would send me mail. A lot of people send me mail, but said that if Barry had a lawyer, Barry's lawyer would be the one to file a motion or something called a plea, and he didn't do that. So he's going to have to do it differently. He's going to have to submit his own. Poor Barry. He's so screwed. Even Big Kevin is smarter than Barry. Even a box jellyfish is smarter than Barry. Oh, Barry, poor Barry. If Big Kevin is smarter than Barry, and a box jellyfish is smarter than Big Kevin, Barry is so screwed. He really is. There's no joke. Barry, good luck, man. Good luck. imagine Big Kevin. Well, I would think that Big Kevin is he's a better beggar. He's a better beggar. Because Big Kevin buys crap with his e-begging money that you could see. Green screen TV, secondary double microphones, stereophonic microphones, waterproof cameras that he doesn't use because he doesn't go in the water. Stuff like that. Big screens to look at stuff. Toys that make noise. At least Big Kevin spends his money on gadgets that you can see. Barry, he just consumes. He consumed cigarettes and he consumed alcohol. And then the money that was sent to him was squandered away, up in smoke, so to speak. So if Big Kevin is smarter than Barry, and a box jellyfish is smarter than Big Kevin, and that's true, Barry doesn't stand a chance. And Barry is filing his own defense on behalf of Barry Jordan, number one, greatest vlogger in history. This is going to give Popeye hours and hours of entertainment. God, he is... Poor fella, says Steve. I know Stevie's on Barry's side. A lot of people are on Barry's side. But we have to remember that Barry has done some dastardly deeds in the past. I mean, got to remember that Barry is not all roses, so to speak. So, and not like everybody didn't tell him, stop doing what you're doing. I mean, it's not complicated. It's really not that complicated. The laws in the Philippines are already pretty messed up. That you can you could even file a case on some of the crap that you can file a case on here. I tried to explain to you look, I know the law here better than pretty much most other bloggers. Because I'm going through it, and I went through it already once before. The laws called cybercrime, let's just go over cybercrimes while I'm here. The laws for cybercrimes were not made for criminals or by criminals. They were made by criminals. But they were not made for people that go out and rob sari stores or rob a department store. The laws for cyber crimes. My lawyer and I talked about this in depth. The laws for cyber crimes were made by politicians not to entrap people that were robbing food out of a supermarket or a gas station. They're not for that reason. Cybercrimes law was created to stop one politician from saying something bad about another politician before or during an election campaign. That's true. They were made by politicians, which are mostly lawyers. That's true, too. To prevent one politician from saying something else bad about another politician. And it doesn't have to be a lie. That's the problem, that we would never hear of anything like this in America. Let's say that Barry, unfortunately, said he said, well, I could really go off on a tangent here, yeah? Let's say that Barry said, forget Barry. Let's say a politician said that another politician's wife... Okay, so a politician said that another politician's wife was a streetwalker before they got married. And let's say that he found this out from records that the second politician's wife was a streetwalker, and she was arrested for walking the streets of Manila multiple times, many times, 5 times, 3 times, whatever. So the politician 1 says that politician 2's wife was a streetwalker. And there's proof in the court that woman was arrested 5 times for prostitution. It's true. There are court records. They made a law here in the Philippines that you're not allowed to say it, even though it's true, because it hurts the reputation of the other politician or his wife. So if you're in a political battle for an office of mayor or senate, whatever they have, political officers here, you can't talk bad about your adversary. You're not allowed. And if you do, even if you have proof that what you say is true and you mar his person, libel and slander, you can be held accountable for telling the truth that the other guy's wife was a prostitute, and you have physical records of it. You can't say it. That's the problem with Barry. You can't say it. Now, you could say his wife didn't have maybe only graduated up to the 4th grade, which is even smarter than Barry. So going back to... So you could say something like that, or you could call his wife, she's a little stupid. But you can't say his wife was a prostitute, even if you could prove it. Not allowed to say it. And that's the problem. If Barry has charges against him, that's the problem. That he said stuff, even if it's true, what he said, you have to take it that it's not true, but even if it was true, you're still not allowed to say it. And I pleaded with Barry, because I know the law. I pleaded with Barry years ago to stop saying certain things, and he wouldn't listen. Well, now we're going to find out if the recording of what someone said that he said. Now, I don't know what he said, because I'm not sure what he said when he said it, but if what he said was true, that he said what he said, and if the fellow that said what he said when he said it is true, and if what he said was said and then it was recorded with the date and the timestamp and the URL, that proves that what he said when he said it was true if it was recorded properly. Well, if what he said and when he said it, where he said it, how he said it, and the channel that he said it on, and the URL and the timestamp and the date is all in the documentation of when he said what he said, and if what he said, whether it's true or not, he's screwed. Even if it's true, it doesn't matter. Not allowed to talk bad about the adversary. So, is Barry a politician? No. He's a mooch. 2 different things. Both of them live off the weakness of society. That's true. But the ignorance of society, feeding them money. But Barry made the mistake to not listen to the people that told him to stop saying what he was saying. So now, if it's not recorded properly, then he can't be used against Barry. So maybe even if Barry said what he said, let's say that Barry said what he said, and when he said it, it was recorded that Barry said it, and his face is in the camera, but there's no date. No, it can't be used. Let's say that what Barry said, that he said, and what he said is true, and what he said is true, and when he said it is recorded, but there's no video evidence of a URL, timestamps, screenshots like that. Well, then Barry he's home free. But if what he said is true, and there's timestamps, and a date, and a URL, and a channel, and it's posted on his channel, then he's screwed. Again, goes back to how it was recorded, who recorded it, when they recorded it, the URL, the timestamp, the channeling. Barry. So the laws weren't made for people that steal candy out of a candy store. The laws were made by lawyers to keep other lawyers, politicians, from saying bad things about them during the time of elections. That's the cyber libel law is based on. Now, people don't believe me, but I'm telling you what it is based on and how it's based. It's not based on whether or not what you said is true. Barry keeps saying, well, I have proof that what I say is true. Yeah, okay, but you're still not allowed to say it. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's a big problem. And the other problem is Steve 25901 brings up, he could have paid his visa fees with the money he spent on games, game systems, and cigarettes and booze. And then, when his adversary said, I'm going to file charges, Barry's visa fees were up to date. He goes to the J Mall. He applies for exit clearance from the Philippines at 8 o'clock in the morning. You give, I hate to tell you how to do it, get it all done in one day, but I will. You go to the J Mall, you get online in the back of the mall. You get online, you get there at 6:30 in the morning. Figure out where it is the day before, where the line is, and go there at 6:30 in the morning the next day. If you want to get out of the Philippines fast. And you go to where the line is going to go to the elevator to go up to the floor for the Bureau of Immigration on that floor. And you get there at 6:30. You're number one. You're number one, baby. Barry's number one. And you stand online, and when nobody's looking, you walk into the door where the elevator is, and you go up the staircase to the second floor, where the office is for the Bureau of Immigration. And you stand in front of the door. And you stand in front of the door until around 7:45. A guy will come to the door and say, what's up? And you tell him, I want to get out of here first. I want my paperwork to be done. I want it to be done. And I want to do it today. And the guy and you sit down and you do business. You're number one, baby. And he'll tell you to come back tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, or he'll tell you to come back that day at 2 o'clock. And you'll come back there and you'll see him. And then, of course, you two guys make love, not physical, but, like that. And then you look at your paperwork and everybody's happy and you leave at 2 o'clock. So you took your 8 hours to get your paperwork. That's possible. I don't know if it's still possible. But that's how you get out in one day. And then you go buy a ticket right then and there the same day. Because you get your clearance. You get your exit visa. Then you already have, of course, an NBI clearance. Because you have to have an NBI clearance. So you have an NBI clearance and they clear you through the visa office. You go right straight to the airport and buy a ticket and you leave. Not that I would know anything about that because I had lots of time, but I didn't want to come back they can make you, if you don't do it my way, if you don't make love, then they'll tell you to come back in 2 weeks or next week. How long would 10,000 US dollars last on vacation? I mean, you could spend $10,000 in a month, but that would be hard to, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to do that, but I mean, what are you going to do when you get here? Are you a scuba diver? If you're going to go scuba diving, it's going to cost you $250 a day with airfare, on average, for 10 days, $2,500. If you're not, and you get an apartment, you can get an apartment for $100 a month, a little bungalow made out of bamboo. So then you could probably, on $10,000, if you were conservative, not staying at hotels and eating Filipino food, theoretically, $350 for an apartment, a nice apartment with a fan in a concrete building, $350 a month. So 10 months would be $3,500 for rent, $5,000 with electric and water. You could stay 8 months with that and live like a Filipino. You're not going to go on vacation. I got to go, man. I'm done. I could stretch out $10,000 for a year, no problem, because I know I buy and cook my own food. If you're cooking your own food, if you're buying food, you're going to spend $500 a month on food out at restaurants. If you cook your own food, you could do it for $200. If you're buying food, you could spend $1,000 a month. It's up to you. I don't know what your skill sets are, but you can't. I would say 4 or 5 months and still have freedom of doing stuff. Thanks for stopping by. DNC says something here. Bye-bye. I'm being permy. I really do have something else I want to do. Thanks for stopping by.